Batteries fully charged. Launch ready for WWE Aftershock in 3, 2, 1. World Wrestling Entertainment Discussion is live. Cue host Owen Finch.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to WWE Aftershock episode. I believe it's 3 or 4, but you can just read the title because I'm really not sure. I'm here with the guy that loves to do Raw notes when we did the Master Story Wrestling Corner, but all of a sudden got too scared last week to do Raw notes. Chris Daw, what's going on?
I'm doing great. I'm horrified.
Are you going to do Raw notes, or are you too scared this week again?
Too scared.
Oh, wow. So I'm doing everything. I'm doing everything this time. That's fine, And I'm obviously Owen the Birdman Finch, the host of this thing, and we're just going to get started right away. Not much of an intro, but it's better than the outtake intro that we just had, so there you go. I know, the whole point of outtakes is we're not supposed to talk about them, but I just bring them up anyways, so it's like whatever. It's like what they happen, we can talk about them. You're probably going to see it anyways, but let's talk about what's been going on lately in WWE. I want to revisit that conversation that we had at the end of the show last week where we talked about AEW potentially buying WWE. I know it's probably like been debunked and everything like that probably by now, but I want to revisit it because we talked about it so late into the show that like no one really wanted to talk about it anymore. So I think it's good revisiting that conversation. So I'll just ask you, now that like we're doing it in the beginning of the show, like what do you think about the potential of like AEW buying WWE? Because we talked about it like last week, like before we went on the call or anything like that.
I think it'd be an interesting thing. I think they could keep it within the wrestling business, I guess. It could be an interesting thing. But yeah, I just don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I would like it because at least a wrestling fan, no matter what we say about Tony Khan and stuff, would be owning WWE. I don't think Tony Khan would do anything like to run WWE, though. I think he would just do his own thing with AEW and ROH, and Triple H would still run WWE. I don't think it's going to happen because, one, I just really don't see Vince selling to his competition. I know Vince would like to have the sale and everything, but I think Vince would see that as a defeat if he sold it to his competition. And I also I think Vince wants to still be a part of the company somehow. I don't see Tony Khan allowing Vince to stay in the company if he was to buy WWE. I would be worried about it a little bit too, just because of the fact that the ROH thing hasn't really worked out, I think, all that much for AEW and all that type of stuff. Mainly because we've only gotten like 3 shows. Like, I know it hasn't been a year yet, but it's like we should have gotten some type of like TV deal or something like that with ROH. Now, obviously, this is different than ROH because it's freaking WWE and they already have their TV deals and everything like that. The suggestion I made is I would have Tony Khan buy it and be like a private person who just gives the money and everything like that, and have Triple H run everything. That would probably be way too much for Triple H to do because he'd be running 3 products at once. And who knows how good that would be to his health and everything like that. But the good thing about it is we would be even closer to a WWE AEW crossover show. And as much as Forbidden Door was great last year, like this would be the ultimate like Forbidden. That would be the name of you would have to name that the pay-per-view, the ultimate Forbidden Door, because whoever would have thought that like WWE and AEW would be doing business with each other. If you could even get like New Japan involved in that if they still want to do things with I think it'd be cool because like this thing like Triple H could help AEW fix the women's division because he fixed the women's division in WWE. I think he could easily fix the women's division in AEW. And this things that AEW could do for like WWE, like they could help with the tag division. Not that the tag division needs any help, but obviously AEW has been known to have like one of the greatest tag divisions ever. They having the Young Bucks help book the WWE tag division would be cool. So, like I said, it'd be nice. But I just really don't think it's going to happen for the reasons I mentioned before. So There you go. But let's talk about this. WWE has blocked a sale. Sale has possibly been blocked. We didn't really talk about it last week. Apparently, Vince McMahon got sued. I believe this is the story. Is he got sued, right, by like one of the people that like was ousted from the company as like board of directors or something. He fired them unjustly, and that's what he's being sued for. Is that what he's being sued for? I'm pretty sure that's what he's.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's what he's being sued for.
So pretty much this has blocked the sale to the company. It sucks because that means Vince is going to be around for a little bit longer. So it's like I understand you have the right to sue, but it's like your lawsuit is keeping Vince McMahon around longer than he needs to be. So why don't you just fucking get over it and let Vince fucking finally retire, please? That's what I know. That's a weird take to have, but that's just the take I have. So what do you think about the block of the sale and everything like that, and Vince being sued?
I knew it was coming. The suit, but yeah, just pay her off and pay him off and fucking move on with it. Because that's what he did with the Rita thing recently.
Yeah,
they settled. So,
and then that's really the only news about like WWE. I guess one of the news is The Rock recently came out and said that he's not going to be in ring shape in time for the Royal Rumble. This could very well just be the whole thing that they did with Edge in 2020, where he kept saying he wasn't going to be in the Rumble, and then he ends up being in the Rumble. I'm so obviously not going to believe it until I see it, because I could see something happening where, like, the week of the Rumble, The Rock gets a movie gig, and it causes him to not really be able to do anything. Just because we've heard so many teases anyways about The Rock showing up, and then he doesn't show up. I'm still just not. It's going to be one of those things I won't believe it until I see it, because we've been promised The Rock for years. But then again, we'll talk on Raw this week. They announced that Cody's going to be in the Rumble. And I think that's why I think he might be in the Rumble, just because they wouldn't have given away Cody's return if The Rock wasn't going to be in the Rumble. But what are your thoughts on that news story that came out, that The Rock might not be ready in time for the Royal Rumble, like in ring shape and all that type of stuff?
Smoke screens. They wouldn't be doing all this like subliminal shit if he wasn't going to be wrestling. That's my take. I think he's going to be wrestling at WrestleMania this year. I could be wrong. I've been wrong millions of times before about wrestling shit. I could be wrong, but I firmly believe that this is just the same thing like you said about Edge. Edge threw up smoke screens the whole time saying that he wasn't going to be in the Rumble. He wasn't going to do this. He wasn't wrestling anymore. And then what happened? He showed up in the Royal Rumble. So, me personally, I think it's just like an Edge situation. But I've also heard a non-wrestling role for him at Mania.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. But let's talk about the weekly shit, because that's what we're here for.
The weekly shit.
And WWE this week was anything but shit. So, I'm gonna start with Raw from the January 16th, 2023. I still have freaking Tom Phillips and Byron Saxon on commentary in my fucking notes. I still haven't updated that yet. It's not them. It's Corey Graves and Kevin Patrick. So apparently I need to update that in my notes still. It's
about time.
The Bloodline comes out to cut a promo. Well, it's really the Usos and Solo Sikoa. No Roman Reigns, no Sami Zayn, because Sami Zayn was kind of in trouble last week, and it kind of carried over into this week. And they basically say that the Bloodline's in your city. They talk about how they're the most dominant force in the company. And they also talk about how next week on Raw, which is going to be tomorrow, because that's when we're recording this, but it's going to be tonight since it's going to be airing Monday. But I know it gets complicated when it comes to recordings and all that type of stuff. But they say that they're going to have a ultimate acknowledgement ceremony for the tribal chief Roman Reigns, where like every member of the family that's living is going to be out there to acknowledge the tribal chief. We can't go into detail about that anymore because that segment's changed. We'll talk about that when we review SmackDown. And yeah, I thought they had a good promo, and then it led to the Judgment Day coming out. The entire faction and they bickered back and forth. They talked about how the Judgment Day talked about how they're going to defeat the Usos for the Raw Tag Team titles at the 30th anniversary of Raw. They talked about how the Bloodline has called their shots, but they haven't faced a team like the Judgment Day. The Usos did the road catchphrase where they would talk about all these teams that they beat and they would say on lock. I like that they brought up that one of the team that they even beat to get this long title reign was Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio. And Dominic Mysterio mentioned that was before I became this hard-on criminal and all that type of stuff, which I think Steve Coakley was loving because, this was the gimmick that he pitched all that time ago.
God help me.
Solo Sikoa stood up to Dominic Mysterio, and it led to Rhea Ripley standing up to Solo Sikoa, which was awesome. And it led to a big brawl between everybody. And during this brawl, Mustafa Ali came up off the top rope and attacked Solo Sikoa and just beat him up. And it led to a match between Solo Sikoa and Mustafa Ali. But before we talk about that match, I thought this opening segment was really good. I think the Usos were clearly the baby faces coming out of that segment. Because it just felt like the Judgment Day were more heels and everything like that. Obviously, the Bloodline is still heels, but we talked about it last week. If there's anyone that's faces in the Bloodline, it's definitely the Usos and like Sammy at this moment. But yeah, really good stuff here. And what do you think of it?
I thought it was a really good segment. It sets up some, the tag title match, which it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, we'll talk about it because I think there's a reason it's only for the Raw belts and not the SmackDown ones, but we'll talk about that when we do predictions for the 30th anniversary of Raw and things like that. But next was the match between Solo Sikoa and Mustafa Ali. I thought they had really good chemistry with each other. It was pretty much the same match as the Dolph Ziggler match. I thought the Dolph Ziggler match was a little bit better, but this match was very good. Eventually, Kevin Owens ran out. The Usos were inside, and he brawled with the Usos and beat him up. And this distracted Solo Sikoa, and Mustafa Ali got a roll-up on him. And Solo Sikoa still kicked out, and it led to Solo Sikoa hitting the Samoan spike onto Mustafa Ali. And he beats Mustafa Ali. Afterwards, Kevin Owens laid out Solo Sikoa with a stunner, and he ended up doing the splash through the table. But I still thought Solo Sikoa looked really strong here. He still won the match, even though he was distracted by Kevin Owens. And the only reason Kevin Owens got one up on him is because he had stunned him like legitimately after he had the match and everything like that. So I still thought Solo Sikoa looked really good here. Kevin Owens obviously looked very strong here. I thought it was awesome, and I thought it was a really good match and everything like that. So what did you think of this?
I thought it was the same thing. I thought it was really, really good. Solo's just a fucking beast.
Yeah.
It's just like they gave him sort of like the Umaga gimmick. I'm all for it. He looks awesome.
Yeah. I mean, again, I still love that he adopted the Samoan spike now, which keeps Umaga's. And I actually did the research about this recently. Apparently, he brought that move out like on the anniversary of Umaga's death. Like, obviously not quite the anniversary, but it was like close enough to it. So I think that's pretty cool. Next, Bobby Lashley's backstage, and they were hyping up this six-pack challenge elimination match where the winner was going to face Austin Theory tomorrow/tonight, whatever, for the U.S. belt. And he talks about how he could easily destroy any one of those superstars in the ring, and he says that he's going to use that to build momentum for his U.S. title match, win the U.S. title, and then win the Royal Rumble match. So good promo here by Lashley. Then we had a Raw 30 ad. It was really just them showing like some great moments from Raw, talking about how it's going to be, in Philly and stuff next week. And this is the first time they like really talked about Raw 30. Which, I'm happy they didn't do all this build for this time because I remember when they did Raw 25, it ended up being like pretty disappointing. The one that I'm mainly happy about is they're doing it in one arena this time, because we don't need to do two arena shit ever again. That doesn't go very well. So I feel like Triple H could probably do it because he would actually be fair to both arenas and stuff. But whatever. What do you think of both of these segments?
I thought it's good again. Like I can't Raw Raw 30 is going to be awesome. I can't wait for it. I'm excited.
And then Cody Rhodes has a vignette. This was a continuation of his vignette. I know you're a big Cody boy, so I'm just going to let you talk about Cody's vignette because you're a big Cody Rhodes boy, big Cody Rhodes fan.
It's the same sort of build up that Triple H got from his return in 2002.
Yeah.
Same build up, same thing where they go in and they show like the surgery being done. And at the end it says returning at the Royal Rumble. And a little tidbit about that, it was he was actually not cleared before those vignettes came out.
So that's interesting, yeah.
So he's either cleared now or not. I don't know if he's cleared or not, but he wasn't cleared when those vignettes came out.
A big interesting thing about it too is I think they said on Raw Talk that he's coming back like I think 2 months early than he was supposed to, which is cool. I think we all expected him back anyways by January because Cody Rhodes and everything like that. But I'm really excited about it. And obviously a lot of fans are probably complaining about the fact that he gave away his return and everything like that, but I think he's going to get just as big of a pop, even whether it's a surprise or not, like Triple H got it, and when he returned all that time ago. So, next, Byron Saxton's backstage, and he tries to get a word with Adam Pearce about the Rumble, and Elias goes to go in the locker room, and he wants to put his name in for the Royal Rumble match, and MVP comes out and says that, there's only so many spots for the Rumble match. You might not even get in. And it leads to Elias saying, maybe I need to showcase myself. So he challenges MVP to a match, and MVP goes back into Adam Pearce's thing, and he goes to get that match made official. No, he doesn't say that match, but he says you're going to face the Royal Rumble winner. And we're all meant to think that it's MVP, but obviously it's not going to be MVP. I think we all saw that coming to mind.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was funny, though, because when he goes into the locker room, you can hear him talking to Adam Pearce, and Adam Pearce just sounds like really annoyed that MVP came back in to talk to him. I thought that was hilarious. What did you think of this backstage segment right here?
Yeah, let's set up a future segment again. Elias is going to be in the Rumble, okay.
Yeah. I don't even know if he is in it. He just said he wanted to be in it, so.
Yeah. I guess he's not going to be in it then.
Next match was the Street Profits versus Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. I'm really happy they put Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin back together as a tag team. This was a really good match here. MVP came out doing the match just to watch, which, is a tease that the Hurt Business is getting back together. The finish of this match is really weird. Everybody starts to hit really cool dives on each other, and MVP tries to interfere in the match. He, I believe, Montez Ford goes for like his big spin and stinner splash in the corner, and MVP moves Montez. No, he moves, I think, Shelton, and this distracts the Street Profits, and you see like a paydirt or something get hit, and he gets kicked out of, and then all of a sudden, like, I think this was this match was this finish was botched, I think. All of a sudden, I think it's like Montez Ford rolls up Shelton and wins the match. The finish of this match was really convoluted, and it was really bad. I think there was a botch somewhere in here, but I still thought the match overall itself was really good. Just did not like the finish at all. It was really weird. And it continues. The tease of putting back the Hurt Business together. This isn't obviously this is not a good start to it because MVP technically cost them the match, but it could still happen. What did you think of this match and everything?
It was a solid match. Nothing to write home about at all.
Next, the Judgment Day get interviewed, and they talk some more about how they're going to win the Raw Tag titles. Rhea Ripley's upset with Solo Sikoa for trying to hurt Dominic Mysterio. Then Alpha Academy come up and shush them, and basically say that they should have been disqualified after the tag team turmoil match last week, because of the fact that Otis destroyed Finn Balor's ribs, and they should have advanced in the tournament or something, which doesn't make sense because they lost anyway. So that was weird. The Judgment Day then talk about how they're going to destroy Alpha Academy. And Alpha Academy disagree with him. And, Chad Gable was being really nice and tells him thank you. What a nice guy to say
What a
thank
nice
you.
guy.
I thought this back segment was pretty good. I always enjoy seeing Chad Gable talk, especially get all his catchphrases over. It really wasn't nice to shush him, though. That really wasn't very nice. They were trying to have a conversation with someone, and he just comes over and just shushes them. But at least he made up for it by thanking them. So, it was kind of like he did a mean thing and then tried to make up for it by doing a nice thing. So it's like, so I guess good for him. What did you think of this?
He was shushed, and it broke his heart.
I know. And again, I don't know if Chad Gable should be shushing a wrestling thug right now. That really wasn't a wise thing to do. But whatever. Next, Becky Lynch calls out Bayley. And she talks about how she wants to fight Bayley, how Bayley can't get anything done on her own. And she's proven it by the fact that she's won all the matches with help from, I almost said toxic attraction, but I meant to say damage control. And damage control comes out, and Bayley and Becky Lynch proceed to shoot promos on each other. I don't want to say shoot each other because people might think that's something different. But Bayley talks about how she's a bigger star than Becky Lynch and how she's had all the success on the main roster by being the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion and all that stuff. But Becky Lynch talks about how Bayley hasn't been able to do any of that stuff without somebody's help, mentioning, all the times that Bayley had to be helped to obtain the SmackDown Women's belt and all that type of stuff. She truly didn't start to break out until she reached her emo phase. When she turned heel, she talks about how she's jealous of Becky Lynch because when she was called up from NXT, Bayley wasn't part of that call up, obviously referencing when the 4 Horsewomen, but not the 4 Horsewomen got called up because Bayley missed out on it. And she says that's eating away at Bayley, but Bayley talked about how she wanted to stay and build up NXT. But Becky Lynch's questions was what, or was it because she knew that if she had got called up with the 4 Horsewomen, she wouldn't have had the big success that she had, like Becky Lynch did. Bayley reminds Becky Lynch that, she pretty much leashed off the 4 Horsewomen because if she had stayed at NXT, she would have been exposed, which I don't think is the case, but, it's a good thing to say. If anything, I think Becky Lynch probably would have broken out sooner because if anything, that call-up kind of ruined Becky Lynch a little bit, but that's a different conversation for another day. And Becky Lynch talked about how she was able to find it within herself to become the man and be the woman that she is today. And Bayley mentioned that it was because she got her face broken. And I love Becky Lynch's response. It's like, wow, I haven't heard that one before. Oh my gosh. I thought that was awesome. So basically this all leads to Becky Lynch challenging Bayley to a steel cage match on next week's Raw. And Bayley accepts, and Becky Lynch says, we're going to really see if you can win this match on your own. Which obviously she won't because we've seen in cage matches before anyway that they can still find ways to interfere. But I still thought this was a really good segment here. They obviously mentioned Sasha. There was very heavily Sasha Banks references, but they never actually said Sasha Banks really. But I still thought this was a hell of a segment here. And I thought these two women, you felt like they hated each other. So that was awesome. What did you think of this?
It was a really good segment. Again, it sets up the cage match for Raw. It's a really good segment again. Liked it a lot.
Yeah. Then Dolph Ziggler's backstage getting ready for the 6-pack elimination match. And Mustafa Ali comes up and he's upset with Dolph Ziggler that he continuously ignores him. He didn't want to team up with him or do any of this stuff. He wasn't out there to help him fight off the bloodline, even though Kevin Owens was freaking there. He still fucking lost on his own. He had all this help in the world and he still fucking lost, you fucking loser. Fucking nothing. But
fucking loser.
It seems like we always find a new loser on the show, and this week I guess it's Mustafa Ali that's the ultimate loser. So, Dolph Ziggler tells Mustafa Ali that he's just a kid and he's not going to understand why Dolph Ziggler's doing any of this stuff.
He's just a child.
Yeah, and Mustafa Ali punches him in the face, being mean. And I think why this was mean is he waited till Dolph Ziggler like turned around and let his guard down. What a fucking mean guy! Like, what a meanie. I do like the storyline that they're doing with Dolph Ziggler and Mustafa Ali. I like that it's not like forgotten about. I don't know if it's leading to Mustafa Ali like turning heel on Dolph Ziggler or if it will lead to them like teaming up or something like that. But I'm we've seen Mustafa Ali as a heel before, and I think this time he'll be a better heel because he wouldn't be a heel in the fucking Retribution faction, and they were all freaking losers.
Let's go. Retribution.
But they were all freaking losers and never won any matches, so maybe it's Mustafa Ali's fault, though, Retribution started losing matches. Because if you think about it, they started fucking losing right when he was revealed to be the leader. What a fucking loser. Fucking nothing. Nothing he is. What did you think, though, about Dolph Ziggler backstage and all this stuff?
It was good. Dolph Ziggler. What the fuck? Dolph Ziggler. Come on.
Yeah. Next, we're gonna get Elias and what we think is gonna be versus MVP, but MVP comes out and he's not in his wrestling gear, so that means he's not wrestling. I don't know. He has wrestled in suits before, so go watch a SmackDown episode from 2007, and he wrestled there in the suits. But then again, he didn't expect to have a match then because Matt Hardy lied to him and stuff and had him play chess before the match, but that's besides the point. He said that when I told you he's going to face the Royal Rumble winner, I didn't mean myself. I meant this guy. And it was Almas. This was almost his first appearance since Crown Jewel or Super Showdown. I forget the name of the show. But Elias did the best he could to try to fight off Almas. But it was not to be. He decided to be an idiot and go off the top rope. And you never do that when a big guy's in the ring. And that ended up being Elias' ultimate mistake, and he got that choke bomb thing that he Omos does and lost the match, and Omos won and looked like a beast. Pretty okay match here. I guess Omos is sticking around, not going to NXT like we all wanted, but whatever. What did you think of this?
It was a match that happened on the show.
Yeah,
they gotta get the giant almost over.
Yeah. And then Adam Pearce gets interviewed. He talks about, the Royal Rumble and all that type of stuff and the contract signing coming up for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. And Akira Tozawa comes in and wants to be put in the Rumble match. But Adam Pearce tells him that you have to earn things around here. And Tozawa wants a match so he can prove himself. And Adam Pearce gives him that match. And I think Tozawa soon later becomes to regret his decision. But what did you think of this backstage segment here between Adam Pearce and Tozawa?
It was a segment that happened on the show.
There you go. Then we had the Judgment Day being represented by Dominic Mysterio and Damian Priest versus Alpha Academy. Rhea Ripley and Finn Balor were in the corners of the Judgment Day because they're in the Judgment Day and they were being very nice. And yeah, very good match here. I thought both teams worked really well together. Eventually, the Judgment Day win with a tag team finisher. And this was really good win for them to get to build momentum going into the tag title match next week. So no issues with this. Very good match here. What did you think of it?
Yeah, it's a good match again. It's a build up for next week. It was a good match.
Then we had Io Sky versus Mia Yim. Io Sky was accompanied by Dakota Kai, and Mia Yim, wanted to even the odds, so she brought out Candice LeRae. And both of these women had a really good match with each other. They had really good chemistry with each other. Mia Yim won with the Eat Defeat. And afterwards, Dakota Kai attacked her, which led to Candice LeRae running in and chasing off Dakota Kai. And it looks like they're going to set up a women's tag team title match out of this. Probably not like on Raw next week, maybe like after the Rumble or something like that. But, I really like this. And, the team of Mia Yim and Candice LeRae makes a lot of sense since they both have had issues with Damage Control. And I'm pretty sure they weren't a team necessarily in NXT, but they were like friends in NXT and stuff like that. So it obviously really works. And so I really like this a lot. What do you think of this?
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's, it looks good.
Then we had Bianca Belair's return to Raw. This was her first appearance since she was beaten down by Alexa Bliss. And Bianca Belair just talks about how she's the Raw Women's Champion and how She was upset that she had to miss Raw last week because she wants to be here all the chances that she can because she loves WWE. And she calls out Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss comes out and talks about how she predicted that Bianca Belair would do this and how she has never come face to face with this type of evil before, which I think is true.
Evil.
And Alexa Bliss wants to have a rematch for the belt. So Bianca Belair suggests they have it at the Rumble, and Alexa Bliss accepts. It leads to a fight. Bianca Belair pretty much kicks Alexa Bliss's ass all the way in the crowd. She goes to hit the KOD onto a stack of chairs, but then she sees Uncle Howdy. Like there's like a bunch of smoke going on in like the balcony and stuff. And we see Uncle Howdy's meant to be standing there. I think he was standing there. And this distracts not Alexa Bliss. It distracts Bianca Belair. And it allows Alexa Bliss to get the advantage in DDT Bianca Belair on the floor. And that was it. She just kind of left. She didn't like take the chairs and like hit her or anything like that. So, yeah, I really like this a lot. I'm still really intrigued about where this is all going with Uncle Howdy and Alexa Bliss. And we still don't know if Bray Wyatt is Uncle Howdy because, of that promo he cut on SmackDown the week prior. But I thought this was a really good segment here. No complaints at all. What do you think of this?
None at all. It was a good segment. Alexa Bliss got her ass kicked. Uncle Howdy showed up. And yeah, it was good. I like Uncle Howdy.
Next, Akira Tozawa faces a mystery opponent. Like I said, I think he soon came to regret to ask for a match because the match was against Bronson Reed, and the second he came out, I'm like, Tozawa might die because
you might eat him.
Yeah. So he didn't completely squash Tozawa. He did get some offense in, which is good. That shows that, in the Triple H regime, because in the Vince regime, Tozawa wouldn't have gotten any offense in. He would have just been fucking dead. But here, he got to at least fight off Bronson Reed a little bit. But eventually, Bronson Reed just freaking dominated him and used his size to overcome Tozawa. And he hit the tsunami off of the top turnbuckle onto Tozawa. And we might need to check the morgue for Tozawa. I am very scared about his safety right now. So, what did you think of this?
Akira Tozawa. I mean to scrape him up off the canvas after the tsunami.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a squash. It's a little bit more than a squash, like a competitive squash. But yeah, squash either way.
It was basically one of those squash matches in AEW Dark, but I like this one better because I like Tozawa more, and it's like at least he's freaking side of the company. It's not like a no-sign guy that gets all this offense in, and then all of a sudden you just know that guy's not going to win. But whatever. Then Seth Rollins gets interviewed, and he talks about the Royal Rumble and how he wants to be the guy to win it and face Roman Reigns for the belt. And he mentions that he wants to get his U.S. title back. Pretty good segment here by Seth Rollins. He was really good on the mic and everything like that. So, what did you think of this?
It was a good segment again. Seth's segment is always usually very good, so I have no issues with it.
And then next, we had the main event, not the show, so you can stay right here.
I'm leaving.
We have the 6-pack challenge for the United States Championship #1 contenders match. I know. Let me say that again. I fucked that up. It's a 6-pack challenge where the winner is going to become the #1 contender for the U.S. title, and it's an elimination match. It's Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler versus Bobby Lashley versus Baron Corbin with JBL ringside versus The Miz versus Finn Balor. Obviously, the big thing coming out of this was all these guys were former United States champions, so that got them a spot in this match. Really good 6-pack challenge here. I thought everyone came off looking really well. Even like The Miz, who was eliminated first. As the match starts, everybody brawls all over the place. Dolph Ziggler and The Miz were fighting in the crowd and stuff. And someone actually pointed out, and I think they're wrong, that Dolph Ziggler and The Miz have had a match against each other like every year since they've been in the company. But I don't remember them having a match in 2009 because they were on different brands at that time. So I'm pretty sure they didn't have a match unless they had a match at like a live event that I don't know about into 2009, but I don't remember The Miz and Ziggler having a match in 2009 because, but whatever. Pretty sure that guy's wrong and I'm right because There's no way they had a match in '09. But anyhow, eventually the first elimination, Austin Theory was out there doing commentary, by the way. And eventually, The Miz locks in the figure 4 leg lock onto Finn Balor, and he turns it over. Actually, it was Dolph Ziggler, and Dolph Ziggler turns it over, and it allows Rollins to hit the stomp on The Miz, and he eliminates The Miz via pinfall. I thought that was a really good elimination. And then Dolph Ziggler got eliminated by Bobby Lashley, I believe, with a spear. And then Seth Rollins eliminated, I believe, Baron Corbin with like a pedigree or something. I forget, but I'm pretty sure that happened. And then it was like down to Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, and Bobby Lashley.
Pretty solid.
And during the match, Rollins threw a drink in Theory's face, and this pissed him off enough where he just left commentary. He was done with commentary because he was so mad about it.
It's better to be pissed off than pissed on.
Yeah. And then allowed basically Paul Heyman makes that analogy later on, by the way. But eventually Baron Corbin gets eliminated with the spear. I believe he got distracted by Omos and stuff because he was like being choked by him and stuff. And it was down to Rollins and like Lashley. And Finn Balor got eliminated by like a curb stomp as well. And I thought Finn Balor looked really strong because he was working kayfabe with injured ribs in the match, and it still lasted a while. And then eventually it was down to Rollins and Lashley. During the match, Omos takes out Seth Rollins, and eventually Rollins hits a curb stomp on Omos, and he dives on Theory, and he hits a splash to Lashley, but he kicks out, and then eventually Lashley beats him with a spear, and Lashley's going to be the number 1 contender. I actually thought this was kind of a shock. I expected Rollins to win to do a rematch, but I like the fact that they went with Lashley. It makes a lot of sense since Lashley was screwed out of the match when Rollins became number 1 contender, and Austin Theory has never actually beaten Bobby Lashley, so I thought that was really good. So yeah, really good stuff here. I thought everyone in the 6-pack challenge looked really strong coming out of it. And I saw Rollins, I think, looked the best because he got, like, I think 3 eliminations in the match. And he still went out fighting and everything like that. And it's going to be weird because when Cody comes back, Rollins has to turn heel. And to me, it's going to be tough. I think he'll be able to pull it off, but it's going to be I think it's going to kind of suck a little bit because he's doing really well as a babyface right now. So I kind of hope, that they don't do the match right away. I wouldn't mind if, like, Cody won the belt and then Rollins challenges for it, and he turns heel that way, because I think Rollins is just doing really well as a babyface. I don't know if I want to see him turn right now, but we'll see what happens. But what did you think of the 6-pack challenge elimination match?
I thought it was excellent. Again, Rollins looks like a fucking absolute badass. Again, like he always does. He's always seems to shine in these multi-people matches.
Yeah.
All the time. It's every time you look back, you go, okay, Seth was great. Like, as per usual. Everyone looked really fucking good in this match. And again, like, Bobby went and made a shit ton of sense. But yeah, it was really, really good. I liked it a lot.
So yeah, that's Raw. Apparently, I didn't delete last week's Raw from my notes because apparently I have the next thing that Kevin Owens comes out to cut the promo, and apparently last week's Raw happened again. I guess they did like a rerun. Apparently, it's one of my notes. So
Recap show.
But anyhow, I thought Raw was excellent. I gave it like a B+. Really easy to Raw to sit through. And it didn't really feel like it dragged or anything like that. So I'm gonna give it a B+. What did you think of Raw?
I give it a B+ also. It's almost an A-. This Raw was just fantastic. Nothing really to complain about at all. There's very little that missed.
Nothing really missed to me, honestly.
The almost thing,
Yeah.
Bronson Reed needs a win because he just came back.
Yeah.
But and so did Omos needed a win too. But it's other than that, it was a really good show.
Yeah. Then we had NXT next. We had it was the January 17th, 2023 edition of NXT. We had Booker T and Vic Joseph on commentary for that. We talked about last week what we think of that commentary team, so we don't need to talk about it again. It showed the intro where they basically recap New Year's Evil from the previous week. And then Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, it opens up with them facing Apollo Crews and Axiom. Really good match here. Apollo Crews and Axiom dominate this match for like for a while actually. Like they did the ad break thing where they play the match on like a small screen and while the big commercial thing goes down. And they freaking dominated doing the whole thing. Like it's like wow, Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams just fucking jobbed out right here. It was so bad. But eventually they end up getting the heat on Axiom. And then it wasn't very long they got the heat on him, but it was long enough. And then Apollo Crews got the hot tag and went off on, Carmelo Hayes. Eventually, the match breaks down. Carmelo Hayes goes for his axe kick off the top turnbuckle, but Crews counters it into a roll-up, and Crews and Axiom win. I thought this was a really good match here. I like the fact that they had Crews and Axiom win because it continues the feud between mainly Crews and Carmelo Hayes. And yeah, I just really like this a lot. So, what did you think of this match?
It was a really good opener, fast paced, really good. They know what the hell they're doing. That's for sure.
Yeah,
that was a really good opener.
Then Tiffany Stratton gets interviewed by Mackenzie Mitchell, and she shows footage of earlier in the day when Tiffany Stratton tried to go into like a private dressing room and stuff because she thinks she's the tribal chief Roman Reigns who gets his own stuff, but it's not the case. And when she tries to go in, it's locked, so she can't get in. So she's just knocking on the door repeatedly. And Indy Hartwell comes out, and Tiffany Stratton's upset that she's in a dressing room. And Indy Hartwell says that, no, this is the women's locker room. And she takes the thing that says Tiffany Stratton off the door and replaces it with the NXT women's locker room and shuts the door on her. So I don't know how I guess Tiffany Stratton didn't get to change at all in this show because, she got locked out of a locker room and stuff. But I thought this was a terrible segment, mainly because Tiffany Stratton can't talk. There's actually more to it. I forgot where Tiffany Stratton goes off on the woman of the locker room for thinking that, that they're just as big of a star as she is and all that type of stuff. So I thought the segment was terrible. It does set up for a match next week between Tiffany Stratton and Eddie Hardwell, but I just did not like this at all. What did you think of this?
I thought it sucked. Anything notice about Tiffany Stratton is her big fake tits now.
Yep. Next, Toxic Attraction cuts a promo. They talk about basically the Battle Royal. It was a really bad promo. Again, I still am going to kind of give him a break because the freaking leader who cut most of the promos is gone. So they're basically they're stuck fucking cutting promos themselves. So it's not their fault. So
it is all their fault. Blame them.
They're trying their best to, cut their promos, but it leads to Valkyria coming out, and she interrupts them. And she says that, that they didn't really win the Battle Royal last week because she would have won the Battle Royal had Cora Jade not gotten involved. And she wants to fight them. So it leads to a 2-on-1 where eventually Toxic Attraction outnumbers her, and it leads to Roxanne Perez making the save. And yeah, they just fight them off, and it leads to a tag match later. So it is what it is. I thought the segment kind of sucked. I thought everyone cut a pretty bad promo here. Valkyria's promo was just pretty bad too. And I think it seemed better because it was right after Toxic Attraction talk, but I thought that this segment just sucked. It was not good. What did you think?
Toxic Attraction's promo was fucking awful. They're very monotone.
Yeah.
When they speak. Energetic, but monotone.
I know.
And then what the fuck? Valkyria, Lyra, Karinia, what the fuck her name is. She's really good in the ring, but mic skills, not so much. All around this just sucked. And they're all monotone too, by the way, I might add. They all sounded like they were half asleep.
I know. Diamond Mine's backstage, and they're training in the Diamond Dojo or whatever. I forget what they call it, but and and they're just training, beating up these dummies and all that type of stuff. And Ivy Naito comes up to them and basically gives them a pep talk that they need to see the old Diamond Mine, the old Creed brothers again. And that was about it. I thought this was a really good promo by Ivy Naito, and you know, I think it's setting up Roderick Strong to come back. Because obviously, I think Jinder Mahal and Indus Sher are gonna face Diamond Mine, well, the Creed brothers, anyways. It will probably be like Indus Sher versus the Creed brothers in a tag match, and Jinder will interfere and help the Indus Sher win, and it will lead to Roderick Strong's return because we haven't seen him in a while, and I think it's time for Roderick Strong to finally come back. So, what did you think of this?
I like this segment a lot. They it really hyped up Diamond Mine. And yeah, I like that, they needed a pep talk. They were too like laser focused on one thing.
Yeah.
And it was really good. I liked it. It shows you that Ivy Niles not just the fucking female fucking manager, and then she actually has a say in the group.
Yeah, that was good. Next, Stevie Turner has another vignette, and she does like a live stream, like reacting to the Battle Royal. But everything that she said sounded like such a freaking scripted line. It was freaking terrible.
Steven Turner.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any relation to Timmy Turner or Tina Turner. One of those in relation to any of them. Which is weird because Timmy Turner was like 10 years old until the show ended. So he never aged. So
he was just in a constant hell.
Yeah. What did you think though of the Stevie Turner vignette? If this is going to be, I hope there's no more of these. But there's going to be more of these.
I don't know. It's not that good.
Yeah. Then we had Kaylee Ray versus Sol Ruka. I almost said Solo
Alba Fire.
I almost said Solo Sikoa by accident. That would have been a weird match. But yeah, they have a match. It was pretty good. It wasn't very long. Eventually, Isla Dawn's up on that perch thing that's in the Performance Center that Elias got thrown off of on like during the early pandemic days and stuff, where like he died and stuff, and then somehow was back at WrestleMania and stuff. It was really weird. But she's standing on there, and you saw that there was like something changing in Kaylee Ray, but eventually it led to a distraction. So Luca hit a backflip off of the second turnbuckle into an ace crusher and won the match. I'm glad she finally did that on NXT because she's been doing that in Level Up. And I'm like, why are you not doing that in NXT? I'm glad they finally showed that in NXT because more people are going to see it there. I hope this impressive performances with So Luca doing all this athletic stuff leads to her getting some type of big showcase like a Kofi Kingston spot in the Royal Rumble this year because she's really earned that. Especially, too, because you don't have Naomi this year to do that for the Rumble. I hope they don't give that spot to Casey Catanzaro because she really hasn't earned it with her work recently. I think it's got to be Saruka that gets that spot because she's really earned it.
Yeah, Katana Chance. Yeah, her. Yeah, she could be in it too.
But what did you think of this match between Kaylee Ray and Saruka?
Yeah, it was okay. I like Saruka's finisher. That thing is fucking sick.
Yeah.
That flipping fucking cutter. But yeah. Again, it's to further the fucking storyline between Alba Fire and Isla Dawn.
Yeah. Next match was see, I'm not correcting you by the way on these names or anything.
Yeah, because it's their name.
I'm just saying.
The nameplate pops up. It says Alba Fire. It says Katana Chance.
I like you.
Guta. It doesn't say they're the crappy names they don't use anymore.
I don't correct you though. I let you call them whatever you want. So.
I call them their names that's on their nameplate.
Next is Dijak. I could call him Dijak here, because that's his name.
Because his name is Dijak. What's it going to come T-Bar again?
Well, apparently, I don't know if you heard about this. Instagram and Twitter won't let him change his name back to Dijak because apparently now that like Twitter has been taken over and stuff, you have to verify accounts by this, but you have to go through a big process to get your name changed out. You can't just change it, I guess. And it was denied. He can't be Dijak. He's still T-Bow and stuff on Twitter, which is really stupid. But I think Twitter's done pretty soon, by the way, because of this ownership. But we're not here to talk about that right now. So, But yeah, Dijak's just cutting this really menacing promo, talking about how he's going to destroy Wesley and how he's going to take the one thing that he's always wanted in WWE, and that's WWE Gold. I thought this was a really good promo by him, and I really liked it a lot. So, what did you think of this?
He's dominant as fuck. Who cares?
I forgot to mention this because I think it happens. I didn't write it down unless it happens later in the show, but Tony D and Stacks have a video package. And I'm glad they aired it before they released a certain news that happened, because I think they would have cut that segment had it happen after the news broke, which we'll talk about. But where Tony D and Stacks at the same place where Two Dimes was not died, but was where his body was thrown off the side of the bridge. And Tony D talked about how Stacks has been a really good soldier to him. And they make a tease like, Stacks talked about how he's going to be loyal to the end. And they make a tease that Tony D is going to kill Stacks and throw him off the side of the bridge. And Stacks is going to willingly sacrifice himself. Instead, though, Tony D puts his arm around him and tells him that he's no longer a soldier. He's now like an undercover boss now. And he gives him a brand new jacket and everything like that. I really like this segment. I actually thought they were going to kill off Stacks here, and he was going to come back as somebody else. But I don't know if Tony D's still a babyface here, because he's acted the same as he would have as a heel. I think the only reason I think he's still a babyface is because he didn't throw Stacks off the side of the bridge. But it's still very questionable. Because sometimes in NXT, and Triple H has been very well known to this, where sometimes people act babyfaces just off a certain circumstance. And I still don't know if that was what happened with Tony D, but I really like this segment a lot here. What did you think of the near-death experience of Stacks right here?
He was. They were all fearing for their lives.
He was gonna take this too, by the way.
And now but he said, "Nah, we're good."
Yeah. Do you think Tony D's still a babyface, or do you think do you think he's gonna be a heel when we see him again?
No, yeah, I think he is.
Yeah. Next, Grayson Waller has an exclusive interview talking about what happened at New Year's Eve and everything. They talked about the knee hurt around the world. They talk about how he should have been the NXT champion because he had Braun Baker beat, and since he was going to win the belt anyways, he went and bought himself a replica version of the NXT championship, and he started calling himself the NXT champion. And then Vic Joseph, who was conducting this interview, asked him, "Well, when you win the real NXT title?" And Grayson was like, "Wait, what are you talking about? I am the real NXT champion. This is the real belt." But then he asked him, when he wins the belt, what's he going to do with the championship? And he says that he's going to win that title to bigger stages and everything like that. And yeah, he says that he's going to win the NXT title, and he said that he's going to pin Braun Breaker. So I know that they could do this. They could still do the escape the cage deal, though. I could see him lying, and when the time comes for it to happen, he'll escape the cage to win. Because I don't think we've seen anyone like escape the cage in a while to win like a match in a cage match. So, but anyhow, I really like this segment here. I thought Grayson Waller really shined. He's essentially the MJF of the NXT brand, pretty much. I really like this a lot, and I really hope he wins the belt. I think it's time for him to finally get the belt. So, but what did you think of this?
I liked it. I liked the fact that he pulled out a fake NXT championship.
Yeah,
that was funny. But yeah, he's like the MVP of that brand.
Yeah. He was really the MVP of that brand, like during the 2.0 era and everything like that too. He really carried it.
It's so easy to hate him.
Yeah. I honestly think he's gonna win the belt, but he's not gonna pin Grayson Waller. He is gonna do the escape the cage bit. But next was Gallus and Brooks and Jensen were backstage, and they just kind of cut promos talking about their hatred and hyping each other up for the match. Then Kaylee Ray was backstage, and she was beating up the referee, who had been misted and everything like that by Isla Dawn, and Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter try to talk her out of it. And Kaylee Ray's just upset because she seems like she's in a slump as of late and can't win any matches. And Casey Catanzaro and Katie Carter are trying to talk her and say that we've been champions for a while. It took us a while to get going. And this leads to Kaylee Ray telling her that, maybe we should face them for the belts. And it's really weird because the tag champs are meant to be baby faces. And they'll say, we'll take on anyone, but we just tried to save you. We just saved you. It's like from getting suspended and stuff. It's like they were trying to talk Kaylee Ray out of a title match. And they even say that she doesn't have a tag partner. She says, I don't need a partner to beat you. And apparently that's the case. It's going to be Kaylee Ray versus Casey Catanzaro and Katie Carter next week for the belts. But I really didn't like this backstage segment all that much. I was intrigued about it because of Kaylee Ray, but the freaking tag champs were just terrible here. What do you think of it?
Tag champs suck. Whole thing sucked. Not very good.
Next was Brooks and Jensen with Fallon Henley ringside versus Gallus. Minus Joe Coffey. It was just Wolfgang and Mark Coffey. I don't know where Joe Coffey is, if he's coming back or not, but we'll see. I thought this match was really good. It was kind of boring in places, but I thought, it was still really good towards the end of it and stuff. They all started brawling with each other. Gallus pretty much dominated like 80% of this matchup. Eventually, they take the padding off the covering of on the ramp right before it's like the metal part of the ramp, and they backdrop Jensen onto the exposed ramp, and Jensen's pretty much done the rest of the match. And Fallon Henley comes out, and eventually, what's her name? Not Kaden Carter. What's her name? Comes out. Kiana James comes out and checks on him, and they walk Jensen to the back, and eventually, Brooks does the best he can to try to fight them off, and eventually Gallus hits the finisher on him and wins. I thought this was really good. I thought it furthered a lot of storylines here, like the Kiana James, Fallon Henley, Jensen storyline, and obviously it got Gallus a win, which was very much needed. So, what did you think of this?
Gave Gallus a much needed win in their return from their visa issues. That fucking backdrop that Brooks Jensen took was fucking crazy. But yeah, I liked it. It was a really good match. Right team won. Brooks and Jensen also got over.
Yeah,
big time. Made to look very strong in defeat. But yeah, I think it's going to lead to the same thing that we've been talking about. It's going to lead to fucking Kiana James and whatever her name is. I forget her name now. Fallon Henley. There we go. Fallon Henley teaming up and then breaking up, and then with Kiana James, the one that's turning on her.
Yeah,
it's fucking so obvious that's happening.
I mean, I like if they went with a surprise and they had Fallon Henley turn on Kiana James. That would be a nice surprise right there. That way, it wouldn't be like the same thing all the time, and it'd be something different. But I know it wouldn't make sense, but at least it wouldn't be predictable and stuff. So, but anyhow, I think the thing that sucks about this the most is if you just let Brooks and Jensen be a team and not have to deal with any of this bullshit, they're really fucking good. Like, I think you forget that because they do all this shit with Jensen where he can't get the girl or anything like that. If you just let Brooks and Jensen be a dominant tag team, they're a really good tag team together. They did do a tribute a little bit to the Briscoes because we'll talk about it later. There was some news that was breaking about the Briscoes at this time, and I'm pretty sure it started breaking probably during this, maybe not during this match, but right before the match and stuff. So they did like a little tribute to the Briscoes a little bit. So I thought that was cool. Then Duke Hudson and Thea Hale are backstage. Thea Hale is having like her first match on NXT. Which it's crazy that this is her first match on NXT. She's been wrestling mainly on like Level Up and stuff, but I don't know how that happened. I'm pretty sure she has wrestled in NXT before. They're just lying to us because WWE likes to lie to us about that type of stuff sometimes. And Andre Chase comes up and he finds this video of Duke Hudson where he's talking to one of his students, and he's basically mentioned how Thea Hale needs this win because lately Chase University hasn't been looking very good, and it's reflected on him. And obviously, this was questionable. This obviously has to do with the NXT Anonymous thing, too, by the way. So um, Duke Hudson reveals that this was taken out of context. And they kind of move on from it because they have to get Thea Hale ready for a match. But I thought this was a nice little intrigue that they added to, the Duke Hudson thing. I kind of hope it doesn't lead to him turning on him because it would be predictable. And I know it's going to happen anyways. I don't think it's the time yet. And to be honest, I actually don't want it to happen because I think Duke Hudson is doing really well in Chase University. I just don't want to see him going back to that heel that he was before Chase University because he was really bland.
He's bland, extremely bland.
Yeah.
He was just like the typical, like, we don't have a character for you, so just be arrogant. Big dude heel. Kind of like how Drew McIntyre was.
Yeah. So I want to see him stay in the. I kind of hope we do find out that it was taken out of context. Because I think it should be. Because I think NXT Anonymous is meant to be heels. Because if you notice, they've only been filming baby faces. So,
they caught Idris Enofe, or Malik, faking his tattoo.
Yeah. So, what did you think of this segment right here? Where it's leading to?
It's fine. Nothing. It's okay.
Next, Jensen's backstage. He's being checked on by the medical, and he says that he's fine. He doesn't want to be checked on anymore. I guess he was fine because he's shown later in the show, and he's fucking fine afterwards. It was really weird. And Fallon Henley comes up to him and, basically yells at him for being in a relationship with Kiana James and everything, and says that she doesn't trust her, and she leaves and tells him that if Kiana James breaks his heart, then she won't be there to help Jensen. And Jensen even actually points out a good thing, like, what does she have to use him for? Because it's not like he's making all this money or anything like that. So even though Jensen's being freaking played, he does have a good point. Like, what the hell does she have to use him for? Because he even mentions that they got the ball back and all that type of stuff. So, I thought the backstage segment was pretty decent. I thought it was a nice way to further the feud between Kiana James. I think now that it's not about the bow anymore, it's a bit more interesting now. But I think because we know where it's going. So, what did you think of this?
Again, it's just like it furthered the storyline, which is fine, but like it's just a stupid segment.
Yeah. Next, we had Valentina Velois versus Thea Hale. Not that good of a match here. Mainly, it's
absolutely sucked.
I blame Valentina Velois more than Thea Hale for this. But the match really sucked. It was really more about because during the match, Duke Hudson and Andre Chase are out there, and Andre Chase just isn't very happy with Duke Hudson because of what he saw, and it leads to the ref gets distracted at one point, and Elektra Lopez comes out with brass knuckles, and she puts them on the hand of Valentina Velois, but she doesn't want to use them. She just tosses them, and the ref catches it, so he takes it out of there, and it leads to Thea Hale winning. And yeah, this match was bad. This was really sucked. They should have, if Thea Hale was gonna have a first match, she should have had it with someone that had like the experience, like a Indy Hardwell or something like that. This was really bad. What did you think of this? It's bad.
It was just awful. For Valentina Velois is fucking terrible.
Yeah. And then next, Carmella Hayes and Trick Williams are backstage. They're leaving because they've done their job. They collected their paycheck. They're ready to leave. And they talk about the loss, and Carmella Hayes doesn't want to talk about it. He's like, "Yeah, he beat me in a tag match. Big freaking whoop." And then Apollo Crews comes up and makes fun of him and tells him that he's gonna go get his hair cut at the barber shop. And Trick Williams is like confused about this because Apollo Crews is bald. He can't even get a haircut. But he does miss the fact that Apollo Crews does have facial hair. He could just go ahead of his facial haircut. So I don't know why Trick Williams was throwing shade at him like that. But I think we're getting a barbershop segment where Apollo Crews is going to make fun of the barbershop segment, like Carmella Hayes made fun of like the segments that Apollo Crews does at the diner and stuff. I think that's going to be awesome, and I can't wait to see it. And I think Axiom's going to like be in the Trick Williams role where like where he hypes up Carmelo Hayes doing those segments. I think that's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see it. What did you think?
I think it's gonna be good.
I would have,
but
yeah. I would have had that segment first though, before the tag match. I think that would have made more sense. But
yeah,
it is what
that's
it
true.
is.
It is what it is. This is how they structured the show.
Yeah. Then you can talk about this. After this was revealed, it had been rumored, and we heard the news about it during NXT. I think it was right before NXT because I remember. No, it was actually during NXT because I remember I went to.
It was
film
during NXT. It was before the New Day segment.
Yeah, it was revealed that Jay Briscoe passed away. Do you want to talk about it because you've been doing like more research on the Jay Briscoe death than we're not
Do you
gonna.
want me to talk about the whole thing?
Don't mention obviously.
Not the whole thing, but like what they said on SmackDown too. We're gonna wait till after the show, after SmackDown, and talk about.
But since we're on the topic, why don't you just talk about the whole thing now? So
okay, so during SmackDown, it was announced that Jay Briscoe had died.
Well, NXT.
Yeah, NXT, not SmackDown. During SmackDown, right before the New Day segment.
NXT.
Yeah, whatever. I have SmackDown on my fucking brain right now. I don't know why. During NXT, finally got it right. Took me fucking 3 chances. They announced that Jay Briscoe passed away, and no one knew what had happened right away. It was absolutely shocking news right before the New Day segment. Vic Joseph sent out condolences to Ashley Pugh and the rest of the Pugh family, and it was absolutely shocking news to hear that. It didn't even seem real because it was on the internet before WWE said something about it. And then once WWE announced it on TV for a guy who's never ever been in WWE before, it felt more real. And it was just so shocking that it happened.
Yeah.
And on SmackDown, before SmackDown had started, they had a tag match, and the Viking Raiders had on Dem Boys armbands. Same thing with the Young Bucks did the same thing.
Kevin Owens had one on after the attack on Roman and stuff too.
Yeah, because they were all relatively close with Jay and had worked with Jay in the past.
Yeah.
And to start the show, Michael Cole said, "We would like to send our condolences to the family of Jay Briscoe. Jay passed away suddenly earlier this week. He and his brother Mark formed one of wrestling's great tag teams." Just to, like, the ultimate respect by a company that Mark and Jay were never in.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do that. That blew my mind. I was like, holy shit. I'm like, a company that they've never been in, sending their condolences to, I mean, granted, Jay Briscoe, well-respected veteran within the wrestling industry. Everyone loved him. But to see WWE doing that, like Impact, it made sense for them to do the 10-bell salute because he was in the company.
Yeah.
AEW, they could have tried harder. I mean, Warner Media didn't want a tribute on the show because of past comments Jay had said in 2013, which everyone knows by now. But he's apologized a million times over the last couple of years, saying that he was stupid, he was young, and it was inconsiderate. He was very apologetic about it, and the fact that Warner couldn't get over that to let them air a fucking tribute for a guy who was well respected and fucking died in a very tragic way it's just pathetic on their part. But yeah, Jay died in a car accident. He was coming home from it was either a cheerleading practice or cheerleading game with his 2 young daughters, 13 and 9 years old, and someone in the other lane swerved into his lane and hit him head on and killed. The driver died in the other car and Jay died, but his kids are for the most recent update from their family friend said that they're doing better. The older daughter has regained feeling in her legs, which is great news because and the younger daughter has some back damage. They both have back damage, but like pretty fucking severe shit. and it's just really, really tragic and really sad.
I'm not gonna. I know he's dead and stuff. I'm not gonna speak for him, but I think Jay Briscoe would rather he die probably than his daughters die and all
Oh
that.
yeah, absolutely. That in that case, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's just I'm very happy that they survived. It's just it was just an awful thing that had happened. That it wasn't even his fault.
I know.
It
was right before
home from cheerleading. 1 second, the next second he's dead, and it's not even his fault.
The day before Mark Briscoe's birthday as well.
Mark Briscoe was the day after.
Oh, okay.
It was literally, talk about just the shit feeling you have.
I know.
I can't celebrate my birthday anymore because the anniversary of my brother's death is literally the day before.
Yeah. And then what's really sad about it is I remember because James, Casey, and I were all gonna do the Royal Rumble 08 retro, and I was on my phone. I was going through No DQ's new stuff and everything like that because we were waiting for Casey to get on and stuff. Because I don't remember what Casey was doing, but he it just took him a bit longer to get on and stuff like that. And then I saw on the thing that Jay Briscoe had passed away. I think I saw it on Instagram, because I follow Instagram things that reveal stories. But I went and checked No DQ afterwards because sometimes, like I said, because of that Seth Rollins injury report, you really can't trust that type of stuff now. But then it said Jay Briscoe had passed away, but we didn't really know why he passed away. At first, we were thinking, was it the dog collar match? Because the reason it was, James mentioned that because because the dog collar matches had been known to shorten careers and stuff. And I think the reason we said that was because Brody Lee died right after the dog collar match with Cody. So we were so I think that's what made James think that was because it's the second time they did a dog collar match, and they did a bunch of extreme stuff in that dog collar match and stuff like that. And Brody died of throat issues and all that type of stuff. But then obviously the car accident stuff later came out. I think it came out fairly soon afterwards. But I just couldn't believe it. And it was just freaking crazy. Obviously a big staple point of ROH. He was there. He was very loyal to ROH. He was there up until the very end, really, because very tragic that he's only 38. I thought he was fucking older than that, but I guess because he's been in the business for so long, it seems that way.
Yeah.
But he was only 38.
He's they've been well, I think Jay this would have been 22 years for him in the business.
Yeah, so it's really
23 years in the business. May 20th, 2000 is what it says.
Yeah, really sad. And I'm not sure what's gonna happen to Mark Briscoe, if he's gonna quit wrestling because he's only done the tag team thing really with Jay Briscoe. I know one of them was the ROH World Champion for a bit.
Jay was. I mean, they've had their own singles careers in the past. But
will he want to keep?
Mark is better known as a tag team wrestler, whereas Jay has gone off on his own before.
Yeah. I hope AEW or something can get Mark Briscoe on TV at some point. I assume they're gonna vacate the ROH tag titles, but that's not even really. That's really less of a thing to talk about than the car accident thing. I could not there's so much more important things. I could honestly care less if they're vacating the tag titles or not, because that's so tragic. That's not even worth. That's not even worth mentioning at all.
It's And the saddest thing of it all is in 3 days it would have been Jay's 39th birthday.
Yeah,
January 25th. He died on the 17th.
Really sad stuff. Continuing. Next was Valentina Valois backstage. She got talked about but we'll just say it now since we're on the subject. I don't know what changed, but they said they changed the show of NXT a little bit because they found out about this death. There was a rewrite or something. I'm not sure what it was, but there was some type of rewrite or something.
They scrapped the New Day funeral segment.
That makes sense. Yeah.
That's why they came out dressed in fucking funeral gear. When you dress up in black at a funeral.
So they put that New Day segment had to have been completely that might have been on the cuff then because
they had done that. That's smart though to not go through with that.
Yeah. But yeah, Valentina Velois was backstage. Electra Lopez comes up to her and like wonders why she chose not to use the brass knuckles. And Valentina Velois says that she just doesn't want to win that way. She doesn't want to be like Sangha and all that stuff. And Electra Lopez tells her to move on from Sangha and focus on you and do whatever it takes to win. And you're going to see that next week when I face Wendy Chu. So this segment was whatever. I really didn't care about it because it was right after the Jay Briscoe thing. So I don't really care. So it was more important things going on than Valentina Velois and Electra Lopez's storyline. So
yeah.
Then the New Day come out to do their promo. They cut a promo talking about being the NXT Tag Team Champions and how they're finally happy that they're finally done with Pretty Deadly. Again, a lot of this promo, they were probably going to say this in the funeral segment, but obviously they had to do it a little bit off the cuff. So then Pretty Deadly come out and they don't think that it's fair that they're being screwed over. They actually have a case this time too. Like usually the heels, when they try to say stuff like that, they don't really have a case.
They're whining.
They're whining about the fact that like they were basically screwed over because they didn't expect Gallus were going to be in the turmoil match, and the New Day said we wouldn't have even had have that turmoil match if you had brought us all the stuff that we asked for originally. Because what was the thing they didn't have that like they couldn't get them? It was like something weird, like something that's like impossible to get. I don't even remember what it was. But then Pretty Deadly say that they want a rematch. Gallus come out and say that they deserve a match because they've been dominant lately and they were dominant as tag team champions in NXT UK. The New Day say that they would be more than happy to face Gallus because they're one of the best tag teams. It leads to a big brawl where Pretty Deadly attack the New Day and Gallus. And everybody has to come out from backstage and break it up, and this sets up a triple threat tag title match between the New Day, Pretty Deadly, and Gallus. I think that's smart to go that way because I think it's too soon to take the titles off the New Day, and I think they want to probably put the belts on Gallus at some point. But this is a better way to do that because the New Day can win without pinning Gallus, or vice versa. They could get the belts off of the New Day. Without pinning the New Day. So
absolutely, yeah.
I mean, the only thing that sucked about this on commentary is freaking Booker T was just burying the New Day the whole time. They were mentioning the fact that like, oh, they're in NXT now, but what matches were they winning on Raw and SmackDown before this? They were nothing. It was like really annoying. It's like what is his hatred with the New Day? I'm honestly thinking it's not kayfabe at this point because he rags on the New Day every time they came out. Like it honestly is annoying at this point.
Come on, you don't like the five-time WCW champion? Come on.
Anyhow, what did you think of this segment?
You're not going to beat us Fave 5 or Shucky Ducky Quack Quack moment of the week.
Gallus are getting to be in this Fave 5 now, so that's good. What did you... Not there yet, but they're getting there. What did you think, though, of, the New Day segment?
With all the changes included, I liked it still. I think I would have liked the funeral segment either way because they're fucking hilarious. If that hadn't happened, it probably would have still been funny either way. But yeah, New Day are great, and I think that's going to be a great match either way.
Yeah. Next, Roxanne Perez and Lyra Valkyria is being interviewed, and Roxanne Perez said that she saved Valkyria because when she was the new girl, she had to deal with all this stuff, and she wants that to be different for Valkyria. Well, she's gonna turn heel on Valkyria now because Cora Jade did this. Cora Jade did the same thing for Roxanne Perez and turn heel on her. So Roxanne Perez is gonna turn heel on Valkyria. That's probably gonna happen. But anyhow, they're talking about the tag match, and Javier Bernal comes in and interrupts it, and just. Because him and Mackenzie Mitchell have been going like back and forth recently every time he gets interviewed. He completely interrupts this. And he's in the women's locker room of all places, too. Like, what a...
pervert.
Yeah. At least he's not changing the locker room. Like, Sonny Kiss was reportedly supposed to be changing the AEW women's locker room. But that's a story for another day. And he wants to perform his music of his new Christmas album because apparently it made the top 40. The top 40. That's weird. That's top tier right there. And Mackenzie Mitchell doesn't want to hear that. So he asked Valkyria and Roxanne Perez if they want to hear it, and they said that they're good. They don't want to hear that. So Javier Bernal says, you guys are just jealous that you guys don't have a top 40 Christmas album. A Christmas album. We're talking about a Christmas album in like
in January.
And then he just takes off to go have a match. It was honestly Javier Bernal is a freaking dork, but like I love the back and forth sometimes between him and Mackenzie Mitchell because it makes him look like such a goof. I thought this was so fucking weird. And then afterwards I remember too, they're like, well, I guess we have to send it back to Booker and Vic because like Javier Bernal completely interrupted them. It was so fucking awesome. I love this. What do you think of this?
Javier Bernal's a fucking loser. Big body Javi, huh? Fucking loser. Get a fucking life, you fucking loser.
Who's a bigger loser?
Life.
Who's a bigger loser right now? Javier Bernal or Mustafa Ali?
Or Kona Reeves.
Well, Kona Reeves isn't even in the company anymore, so we can't.
Because he didn't get saved. Okay, that's why.
So who's the bigger loser then out of all those three? If you're adding Kona Reeves,
Javier Bernal. Big body Javi.
Next is Javier Bernal versus Tyler Bate. They changed Tyler Bate's theme song. It's really generic and really bad now. They did the
worse
same
than his other theme.
Yeah.
No, that could even be plausible.
And Javier Bernal went to perform. He basically went to Poland Elias and perform his theme song, perform the music. Did he even ever really get to sing, or did Tyler Bate come out before he even?
Just immediately, I think it comes out.
And they have like a pretty okay match, mainly because of Tyler Bate, because Tyler Bate's freaking great. Tyler Bate tries to put him away with a Tyler Driver 97. And I think Javier Bernal fucked this up. And I say this because I've seen Tyler Bate hit the Tyler Driver 97 on like people like Walt. I could say Walter because he was Walter at the time. And like Pete, I could say Pete Dunne because he was Pete Dunne at the time. He's hit it at like people way bigger than Javier Bernal with no problem. But Javier Bernal, I think completely screwed this up. I don't even know how he did, but he did. And Tyler Bate wins. I'm happy to see Tyler Bate back, and I'm obviously happy to see Javier Bernal lose. So I think this was a home run segment for those reasons alone. What did you think of this?
I thought it was great because Javier Bernal, the fucking loser, lost. Perfect.
Yeah. Thea Hale's backstage. She's being celebrated, and Brooks and Jensen are backstage, and Fallon Henley comes up and apologizes to Jensen for the earlier confrontation and says that, she's willing to give Kiana James a chance. She's going to team with her next week. So there you go. That's the teaming up. This is kind of cool because their first match, I think, together, like on NXT, was the tag match on either Level Up or 205 Live before it was rebranded into Level Up. So this is a callback to that. They're not going to talk about it, obviously, because it was before they were, the characters they are now and stuff like that. But, it's pretty cool. They all offer to go get drinks at the bar on Brooks. But because they're going to Fallon Henley's bar, they're probably going to get those drinks for fucking free. And no wonder why Fallon Henley went in there fucking giving drinks away. What a fucking loser. No wonder why. I hope you get into more yet just for that. Like, what would John Taffer say to you if you're just giving drinks away? What would he say to that? What did you think of this, though?
He would shut the fucking bar down and burn to the ground.
I kind of wanted to do that in a Bob Eskew. He just not just shuts it down, burns that fucking bar to the ground. But anyhow, what did you think of this segment right here?
You got free drinks out of it.
I mean, how can you say that's a bad segment if you're getting free drink? Well, you don't even drink, Chris. So like, what do you? Well, actually, you'll probably get free drinks, but you're gonna make them all waters because water is free anyways. So you're gonna make them all waters, and that's nothing else. You're just gonna watch. Yeah. You're just gonna watch everybody.
Dehydrated motherfuckers.
You're just gonna watch everybody drink and not even participate yourself. You
just fucking drink water. All you're allowed to drink.
Next, we had the main event. It was Roxanne Perez and Valkyria versus Toxic Attraction. You could tell they didn't really have a lot of faith in this match because usually the last match gets the ad break spot where it's the split screen, but they didn't even give it to this match. They gave it to the Gallus match. So you were like, okay, they had no faith in this match at all. And it actually it didn't even go that long because I think it happened like at 10:52 when NXT goes to 10:08. So it was like you only saw like I think 5 minutes of this match on TV because right when Toxic Attraction get the heat. It goes to break, and then when it comes back, Roxanne Perez gets the hot tag. No, Valkyria gets the hot tag, so it's like, really weird. Valkyria tries to do a senton from the top turnbuckle, but Cora Jade interferes, and the ref somehow missed it. I don't know how he missed that, but he did. And it leads to it doesn't lead to the finish or anything like that. They keep wrestling. She still goes for the move anyways, I think. So I actually kind of like that. That Cora Jade is a fucking bad heel who can't. Because I remember she tried to eliminate like Valkyria last week from the Battle Royal 3 times and failed twice. It's the way I wanted to be the reverse Randy Orton from Battleground 2017, where she tries to screw people over and fails every time. Obviously, that was different because Randy Orton Randy Orton did was worse, where he could have won a wrestling match 3 times and
Yeah, he did. He's a fucking idiot.
That was 2017 Randy Orton, though. 2023 Randy Orton would not do that. I almost said 2022 Randy Orton. That's a different Randy Orton right there. But eventually, Toxic Valkyria brawls with Cora Jade to the back. And you think because it's down to a 2-on-1 disadvantage, that Toxic Attraction are just going to win. But when they go for the tag finisher, JC Jane inadvertently big boots Gigi Dolan, and it leads to Roxanne Perez hitting pop locks on Gigi Dolan for the win. And afterwards, Toxic Attraction argue as the show goes off the air. This was obviously to set up the fact that this could possibly happen in the triple threat match and stuff. I thought this tag match was just kind of whatever, and I really didn't like that it closed the show. They should have had the Gallus. I guess they couldn't have the Gallus segment close the show because they needed to set up that tag match or whatever, but I would have had the freaking Carmelo Hayes tag match close the show because this tag match was just whatever. Or I would have had the New Day segment close the show, but I think they wanted a wrestling match to close the show. But yeah, what a terrible heel Cora Jade is, by the way. Can't get anything done. Like, what did you think of this though?
It's just like it's not good. It's just not good, like at all.
Yeah.
Not even remotely good.
I think it sucked too. I think that this match too was in a bad place on the card because I think the crowd atmosphere was cut out of the arena because they had found out they were probably finding out about the Jay Briscoe stuff because you saw a lot of people on their phones and stuff. I think trying to look it up and all that type of stuff. So it's what it is. I think they clearly had the baby faces go over probably for that reason too because they knew that they wanted to send the crowd home happy. And I still wasn't happy because this match sucked. So they tried to send the crowd home happy, but the match wasn't happy. So that's NXT. I'll give NXT like a C. I'm gonna give NXT like a C. I think the thing that really hurt this show was everything they did with like Toxic Attraction and all that type of stuff. And obviously finding out about Jay Briscoe's death in the show really hurt the show. So it's not even anything really in NXT's control. It just Jay Briscoe's death really sucked the life out of this show. What did you think?
I agree too. Yeah, same rating for me. This just wasn't a good show. And that fact, like you said, that Jay Briscoe dying like during the show,
Yeah.
really put a damper on the show.
Yeah. Let's cover main event real quick. It was on January 18th, 2023. We had Byron Saxton and Kevin Patrick on commentary. I guess Byron Saxton's only good enough to do main event and level up commentary now. That's all that's all he's good for now, apparently. We had Dana Brooke versus Zoe Stark. Pretty decent match right here. Dana Brooke eventually won with a roll-up. So poor Zoe Stark lost on main event. So poor Zoe Stark.
Yeah, fuck her.
Then Dexter Lumis is backstage and he just stares into the camera and doesn't say anything. And it led to Dexter Lumis versus Charlie Dempsey. This was a really good match here. Charlie Dempsey looked really strong against Dexter Lumis. Eventually, Dexter Loomis chokes him out with a silencer, and Charlie Dempsey tapped out. I wouldn't have had Charlie Dempsey tap out. I would have had him just pass out to the pain, but no one's going to see this anyway, so I don't think I don't think it's ever going to be mentioned again, but I would give main event a B-, mainly for that Charlie Dempsey Dexter Loomis match. I know you're not going to watch it, but that's the match to watch on this show.
Yeah, I'm not watching it.
Now let's go to SmackDown. It was January 20th, 2023. It was this past Friday. We had Wade Barrett and Michael Cole on commentary. The Bloodline arrive, and Sami Zayn's in this great mood, ready to get ready to take on the world. And he does his handshakes with the Usos, and he goes for a fist bump with Roman Reigns, and he just denies it, and he just walks away. I thought that was really mean. Because Sami Zayn didn't even do anything to earn that. That was really mean. That was very sad. What did you think of the Bloodline arriving segment?
Great. It was fantastic. Loved every second of it.
Then we had the first match of the SmackDown Tag Team Championship tournament. It was the first round. It was a contenders tournament, too. It was Drew McIntyre and Sheamus versus the Viking Raiders. As you said, the Viking Raiders were paying tribute to Jay Briscoe with the armbands. This was a great tag match here. It went through 2 ad breaks, and it was very physical. Everyone was brawling all around. Eventually, Drew McIntyre hits the Claymore on Ivar, which allows Sheamus to hit the bro kick on him for the win. And Drew McIntyre and Sheamus advance in the tournament. I still thought the Viking Raiders looked really strong in defeat. And, it made sense for Drew and Sheamus to win because they're like one of the favorites in the tournament and stuff. So I really like this tag match here. I thought it was great. What did you think of it?
I'm very happy that Banger Bros won. I'm very happy.
It was really good, yeah. We had the first of 3 segments backstage. It was Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns. And Sami Zayn comes in and talks about how, Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman are going over the contract, too, for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship match. And Sami Zayn comes in and talks, about the how he's happy to be in the Bloodline and everything. And Roman Reigns basically sees past this and wants to know what's bugging Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn tells Roman Reigns that he wasn't really happy that he wasn't clued into the plan about the beatdown last week of Kevin Owens, because he felt like he was well on his way of solving the Kevin Owens problem. That's what Sami Zayn was sent for. And Roman Reigns just tells him, get out. He kicks him out of the locker room and tells him that he doesn't want to deal with this week. And Sami Zayn leaves. I was really sad for Sami Zayn. I was really scared, too, because I thought he was getting kicked out of the Bloodline, but I think both were in the wrong here. Sami Zayn, should have, I guess, known better, but Roman Reigns really should have communicated that with Sami Zayn, and he wanted Sami Zayn to be honest with him, and then he finally was, and he didn't like it. So, and I feel like Roman Reigns didn't really handle that situation all that well. What did you think of this?
I thought it was perfect. Everything happened for a reason. It's going to set up something that's even better. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Next, Raquel Rodriguez is backstage. And she talked about how she's going to win the Royal Rumble because she's really strong and everything like that, and how it's in her hometown, so she's probably not winning the Rumble. A good chance of that. What do you think of this?
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Just saying that she wants to give it that she's going to win in her hometown, which means it's 100% she's not winning.
Yeah. Then we had LA Knight versus Rhett Jones. LA Knight cuts a promo talking about how he's going to handle Bray Wyatt in the dark match. I forget what it's called, but the Mountain Dew
Pitch Black
match. I mean, it'd be cool if it was kind of dark match, but I guess they can't use that name because of AEW Dark. But I feel like if AEW tried to sue them for that, WWE would win that easily because dark match has been a thing forever. But they start to have the match. Uncle Howdy's symbol goes off, which distracts LA Knight, and then Rhett Jones gets a little bit of offense in, but LA Knight obviously wasn't having any of that and puts him away with that headlock driver move. And then the symbol goes off, and you love you some Bray Wyatt, so I'm gonna let you talk about this. We had the return of the Firefly Funhouse. Why don't you talk about the epic return of the Firefly Funhouse?
It was awesome. We got to see Bray Wyatt's plumber's crack. That was funny. That was hilarious. He basically hinted that like LA Knight opened up the doors or whatever, and that you don't know who you're gonna get. So I think it's the Fiend.
And yeah, he pretty much, all the puppets came back. The Firefly Funhouse was very dusty because he hadn't been there in a while. And we got to see all the puppets return. But during this, a little video monitor, like those old school TVs you see, played Uncle Howdy's, and he's happy that Bray Wyatt's finally reveling in what he is. So this was very interesting. I really enjoyed this. I mean, the only thing I hated about this is the typical thing that they do is WWE loves to do this, and I don't know why. When they have a segment on the screen, they cut to like the crowd and film the freaking screen and during the segment. I hate it when they do that. But I really like this. I think next week we're gonna have him like act like the Fiend now. Next week, we're not gonna. I don't think we'll see the Fiend because it's gonna be tough for the Fiend to talk and stuff. But I think we're gonna see the Fiend somehow next week. Because if you've noticed, we've seen every one of Bray Wyatt's gimmicks so far since he's been Bray Wyatt. We saw a version of the Eater of Worlds, and we saw a version of I wouldn't really say a version. We saw basically the Mr. Rogers version of Bray Wyatt. I don't know how he's gonna do the Fiend though without because he has to come out as the Fiend. So maybe I was gonna say maybe he'll just do the Mandible Claw to someone, but he's already done that. So maybe he'll dress up like the Fiend, but not be full on. Like he wouldn't have the mask or anything like that. So I'm interested in this program. I think a match to do honestly in the future. I was thinking they'd do it for the belt, but they don't need to. I think they need to do a match between the Tribal Chief and Bray Wyatt because if you remember, that was kind of like that match with the Tribal Chief was like the start of like. Kind of in real life a little bit too, with the fall of Bray Wyatt in WWE. So I think that match needs to be done at some point. It doesn't even have to be for the freaking title either. So I thought the segment was awesome. Next, we had the next match in the SmackDown Tag Team Championship contenders. They did all the first round matches on this show. It was Hit Row versus Los Lotharios. This was okay. Hit Row were clearly heels in this match. And Los Lotharios, I don't know if they're baby faces, but they were the baby faces in this match. I actually wouldn't complain if they just turned them babyface. I don't think it would really change the direction in the company. I think the best bet for Los Lotharios is they either need to go to Raw, so I think they'd be good for the Raw tag division, or they need to go to NXT. I think they'd be good for NXT. But Hit Row ended up winning via interference from not Fabulous B, B-Fab. Fabulous B is a completely different person. But this was whatever. Hit Row are definitely better as heels, but this match was really carried by Los Lotharios. They really were the ones that got this match going. But this is really Hit Row's last chance, I think. I think if they don't really connect as these heels, then they're done pretty much. But what did you think?
Yeah, Hit Row's terrible.
Yeah. Braun Strowman's backstage, and he said that he's been known to throw bodies all over the place, and he talked about how he did it in 2018 when he won the Greatest Royal Rumble, and he said he's going to do the same thing in the Royal Rumble match. Pretty decent promo here by Braun, talking about how he's going to win the Rumble match. So, what do you think of this?
They always say that.
Yeah,
always.
I should talk about this again because I forgot. It shows a segment earlier in the show between Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns backstage. Because I think it's before the Charlotte Flair thing. And Paul Heyman, is being a good wise man, and he's advising Roman Reigns that it might be wiser to have Sami Zayn on our side than against us, since he knows a lot about Kevin Owens. And this is where you make that analogy. It's better to be pissed off and pissed on, but he basically tells Roman that it's better to have Sami Zayn piss off the castle than piss on the castle, which is, I guess Sami Zayn pees on castles, I guess. So
yeah, he does.
Well, off castles. I don't know. But
That would be brutal.
I thought this was
Watching any of that stream.
I thought this was really good fit, and it also kind of shows that Kevin Owens is right about the fact that the bloodline's using Sami Zayn, because this kind of, I think, proved it a little bit. I'll talk about it again because I forgot to write it down. Sami Zayn's backstage at one point, and Paul Heyman tells him that the tribal chief would like to see him, and they walk off together. So, since we'll talk about these segments. What did you think of these segments right here with the tribal chief with Paul Heyman? And then when Paul Heyman came to talk to get Sami Zayn and stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah,
because they're teasing a lot of good things.
yeah.
So, yes, awesome.
Charlotte Flair cuts a promo. She comes out and talks about Sonya Deville and things like that, how she thinks she's willing to the title match and stuff. Sonya Deville comes out and says that she deserves a title match because if she was given the chance, she'd be a bigger star than any woman backstage or even Charlotte Flair herself. And she wants a title match. And Charlotte Flair says, well, you called your shot and you tapped out and lost. You don't deserve a title match. And she challenges her she tells her to enter the Rumble, but Sonya Deville doesn't want to do that. She wants to just go straight for the belt. So Charlotte Flair challenges her to a fight right now. And Sonya Deville says that she doesn't have anything to gain from it unless she puts the title on the line. And they try to do the whole thing like what Charlotte Flair did to Ronda Rousey. But Adam Pearce comes out and interrupts it. And before he can really say anything, Sonya Deville uses this distraction to cheap shot Charlotte Flair. And Adam Pearce is just like, all right, we're talking about this backstage. And it was really weird because they never go back to this ever again, unless I fast forwarded through it in the show. They never go back to this again. They just went backstage and like nothing happened afterwards. So that segment was okay. I thought Adam Pearce really wasted his time going out there because he basically grabbed a microphone for nothing. So what did you think of this?
Yeah, like it was just Charlotte's over, like fucking crazy.
Which is crazy. I think this is the most over Charlotte Flair has ever been in her career.
A long time. Been a long time since she's been this over.
Yeah.
She's clearly the babyface. But yeah, it's just it's a segment on the show that's like whatever. It wasn't that good.
Yeah. Then Charlotte okay, so I had Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn backstage again, but I think that was actually the Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman segment, actually. And then Lacey Evans has a vignette where it shows her master in the camel clutch. I'm interested to see, I guess, where this Lacey Evans goes. She's being rebranded for the third time in the past year.
Yes.
But again, it's a new regime with Triple H taking over, so maybe he'll go somewhere. I think she's gonna be a heel definitely this time though. It's not gonna be a fake out. She definitely looks like she's a heel based off these vignettes. But what do you think?
Yeah, they could swerve us and she could be a face, but I don't know. It's just no interest in Lacey Evans whatsoever.
Next, we had the Brawling Brutes versus Imperium, and another SmackDown Tag Team Championship Contenders first round tournament match. Really good match here. I like that they revisited this feud. And I really enjoyed it. Everybody looked good in this match. Eventually, Imperium win with the European Bomb onto Ridge Holland. But everybody looks good coming out of this match. It's definitely one of those matches you have to go see and just sit down and watch. What did you think?
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to go too much in depth into it, but yeah. It looks so good. It really was a really great match. That brainbuster on the outside was fucking insane.
Yeah.
Near the end of the match. Oh my god, that was brutal.
And then Shayna Baszler was backstage, and she basically says that she's going to choke everybody out and win the Rumble match. Pretty good promo. Again, it's what everyone says in the Rumble. So, what did you think?
Yeah. It was okay.
Then it showed this awesome video package for the 30th anniversary of Raw, where it showed all the big moments that's happened, all the big returns, title changes. It was really awesome. I don't like the theme song that they chose for it. I would have preferred a different song, but I really liked it. It even showed all of the intro packages and stuff. And they didn't just they didn't leave anything out too. They even showed moments about Chris Jericho and Daniel Bryan and stuff like that too. The only one that wasn't that they didn't really show was CM Punk, which was kind of interesting. Because they don't, you know, they don't really show CM Punk all that much, but I really like this video package they showed. It really hyped me up to want to watch the 30th anniversary of Raw. What did you think of this?
Hype me like none other.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it.
Then Karrion Cross and Scarlett are backstage, and they basically talk about how they're going to destroy Rey Mysterio, and they question Rey Mysterio if he'd rather be a father or an all-time great, because he can't be both, even though he has been both. But I guess according to Karrion Cross, he can't be both. And they had this clock going off like as he was talking and stuff. It was pretty cool. And he also announces he's going to be in the Rumble match. So what did you think of this?
It was a throwaway segment just to basically announce they're in the Rumble.
Yeah. And to hype up the match next week between Rey Mysterio and Karrion Cross. So
yeah.
Next match was another match, the final first round match in the SmackDown Tag Team Championship Contenders Tournament. It was Legado del Fantasma versus Maximum Male Models. Zelina Vega was on commentary during the match. This actually was like a sleeper match on the show. I actually thought it was pretty good. Maximum Male Models wrestled the baby faces in the match. I think that was obviously just a one-time thing. I would have complained, honestly, if they went babyface. So I actually thought that Marseille specifically did some really good moves as a babyface and stuff. But obviously, I don't think it's going to last. I think it was just a one-time thing. During the match, Zelina Vega announced on commentary that I almost said Eric Escobar, but it's Santos Escobar. And her are going to be in the Rumble match. Obviously, Santos is going to be in the men's, and Zelina is going to be in the women's, which, is fine. I mean, I think it's really dumb that Zelina Vega was just able to announce her entry, but Ricochet had to qualify. That was really stupid. That doesn't make any sense because Zelina Vega hasn't had a match at all since she's been back, but yet Ricochet had to qualify. That's really stupid. And who was the better talent there? It's clearly Ricochet. So what are you doing? Especially because it was right after Ricochet had challenged and won the World Cup and everything, and yet he had to qualify. It's really stupid. Like if anyone has to qualify, it's freaking Zelina Vega. But I also don't like Zelina Vega wrestling. Not that I think she's bad. She just doesn't stand out as a wrestler. She stands out more as a manager. And I feel like it's just really pointless for her to wrestle. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, she's a better manager.
Yeah. Because in the business, you want to stand out, and Zelina Vega does not stand out at all as a wrestler. She stands out more as a manager. That's just my opinion. But in the match, I thought it was really good. Eventually, Legado del Fantasma won with the Russian leg sweep, running knee on Mansoir. Mansoir for the win. I love that name, Mansoir. That's awesome. And yeah, I like this a lot. I actually thought Maximum Male Models held their own pretty well. And like I said, I wouldn't complain if they went babyface. Like I said, they're not gonna. I think it was a one-time thing, but I wouldn't complain if they did go babyface. What did you think of this?
It was, right team won. But yeah, it was just it was a nice match.
It was really short too, because I think the match came on. So I'll tell you a story. I didn't watch SmackDown live, as you could tell, because when I recorded it, because I had to watch NXT first and everything. I recorded it so I could watch it, as it went on. I recorded next week's SmackDown by accident, so I had to basically find it again. And luckily they aired a replay of it on like the next day, which I like that Fox does that. But it sucked because I had to fast forward through like the basketball game for a little bit because it didn't start right away, the replay. And I had to fast forward through all the ads because they were advertising next week's SmackDown, and I hadn't even seen this week's SmackDown. So I had to avoid spoilers like you wouldn't believe and avoid the basketball game. So, but I'm pretty sure this match took place like towards the end of the show, and it was like it was really short. So next, though, Sami Zayn comes into Roman Reigns' locker room, and Roman Reigns apologizes again. He says that, this is why he has the wise man, because he's able to talk him down, and he realizes that he has a temper. But, he realizes why him and Sami Zayn work together so well, because he likes to be clued in on all the finer details. Almost like Kona Reeves like the finer things in life. I wonder if Kona Reeves likes the finer details in life. That's a good question to ask. But anyhow, I almost ruined. I'm trying to ruin this segment, but I shouldn't do that. Roman Reigns apologizes. He says that from now on they're going to get clear communication. Sami Zayn appreciates it. He says he even says he expected the worst when he came in there, which I thought was going to piss Roman Reigns off again. And And Roman Reigns tells him that he just expects to get the same love back that he gives. And Sami Zayn tells him that, without him, the bloodline's not really a thing. This doesn't work without him. And he says that, he'll do anything that Roman Reigns asks him to do. So Roman Reigns tells Sami Zayn to get everything ready because they just want to go sign this contract and leave. Get the Usos ready, get the jet ready and everything like that. And Sami Zayn goes and does so. At least we think so, because he might have been doing something else, which we'll talk about. This segment was awesome. Good on Roman for realizing he was wrong right there. Sami Zayn even apologized a little bit, and I'm glad everything was all sorted out. I think this is 2 strikes right here though on Sami Zayn. I don't think the Tribal Chief's going to accept a 3rd strike on Sami Zayn. So I think that 3rd strike happened on this show. What did you think of this though? This was awesome. This was great.
Fantastic. Everything about it is fucking amazing.
Then we had the contract signing for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship match. They had mentioned that Roman Reigns is now, at the time he was 871 days as champ. Now he's 873, I believe. He is now the longest champion of any company, at least in the modern day. He just recently beat, I could say Walter because he was Walter at the time. He just beat Walter's NXT UK championship reign that he had like a couple years ago and stuff. So that's fucking impressive. And I feel like this is why Sami Zayn was so crucial, because Roman Reigns was still doing well, but had Sami Zayn not come in when he did, and Roman Reigns was still holding the belt, I think his act would have gotten stale. I think Sami Zayn really added new life to Roman Reigns' act as champion. And honestly, if Reigns keeps the belt after Mania, I think honestly, Sami Zayn did the job where he didn't get stale. They'll have to find something else for Reigns to do after, the Sami Zayn thing's done with, because, if the Rumble goes how we think it's going to go, he's probably holding this title a little longer. But they come out this week. We didn't get an acknowledge me thing because Roman Reigns didn't have time this week. And he comes out, Roman Reigns is really laid back, and Solo Sikoa is standing on the apron. And Kevin Owens comes up out of nowhere. I think he realized this was going to be quick too, because this segment was probably like 10:55 on SmackDown when the segment took place.
Yeah, it was right around then. Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin Owens takes out Solo Sikoa, lays out Reigns with a stunner, attacks the Usos, hits the pop-up powerbomb onto Roman Reigns through the table, signs the contract. Sami Zayn runs out conveniently when the rest of the bloodline's already been laid out. And Kevin Owens takes off through the crowd. And he was wearing the Jay Briscoe armband again, too. This segment was awesome. I thought it was a good way to make Kevin Owens look strong. And Steve Coakley mentioned it in the chat, and it looks like the case. I don't think Sami Zayn was really getting all that, doing what Roman Reigns asked him to do. I think Kevin Owens was tipped off by Sami Zayn. I think Sami Zayn pulled some trickery here. What do you think? What do you think of this segment and of that possibility?
The segment was great. It was awesome. KO needed that.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin needed that, like, the heat back again. And he beat the living piss out of them.
Yeah.
And the pop-up powerbomb to the table was awesome. Conveniently enough, who comes running out at the end and who has the contract in his hand? Sami Zayn.
Yep.
What do you know?
I like
what happened.
Yeah. I think what I like about this a lot, too, is it makes Kevin Owens look really strong, because it's pretty obvious Kevin Owens isn't going to win the belt. But I think, Kevin Owens is the first one to make Roman Reigns struggle. I think since he's been champion. I think Brock made him struggle a little bit, but Roman Reigns was able to overcome it. Like, you're seeing Roman Reigns break a little bit because of this Kevin Owens thing, which I really like.
Yeah.
I thought the SmackDown was freaking fantastic this week. I love the tournament matches. I think the only thing I really didn't like on SmackDown all that much was the same promos of everyone cutting where they're going to win the Rumble match. It was just really repetitive on this show. I give SmackDown like an A-. It was a freaking fantastic show. What did you think?
I thought it was the same thing. Great show. Great show.
I'm really looking forward to watching SmackDown next week too, because we have a lot of matches announced and things like that. Going over level up really quick. It aired the same day as SmackDown. We had Byron Saxton and Matt Camp on commentary, which was an interesting choice because no one was play-by-play really. So they would just kind of, it was as if you were listening to them on the panel and stuff like that. He's better. Matt Camp's better than Sudo Shaw though. Sudo Shaw is really not that good. I would prefer if this was the permanent commentary team, honestly, on Level Up.
Yeah, that guy's gone now. So
All right, so maybe that is going to be the permanent commentary team on Level Up. What happened? Is he just?
they just released him.
Oh, it opened up with a bomb burner right here. Real great match right here. No one better could have had this match. It was Nikita Lyons versus Jakara Jackson. What a bomb burner this was right here. Awesome Nikita Lyons showcase. You know, Nikita Lyons is so good. Like she honestly should just win every bout. She's awesome. I love her. She's great.
Jesus.
Obviously, I'm trolling right there.
No, you know. Tell us how you really feel. You really love her.
No, this match was terrible. Nikita Lyons won, which was obviously going to happen. The big storyline here was they both make like TikTok videos together, but it was just bad. Damon Kemp gets interviewed, and he talks about how he's going to beat Tank Ledger. And we had Damon Kemp versus Tank Ledger. I thought this was pretty decent. Damon Kemp really carried this match, and he ended up winning. I forget how he won, but he won. And yeah, I'm really disappointed to see how Damon Kemp's being used though. Like this is what happens when you turn your back on Diamond Mine. You're just stuck on Level Up forever. So he deserved this for what he did to Diamond Mine. And Roderick Strong, poor Roderick Strong's in a wheelchair right now. At least I think so, anyways. Then we had the main event. It was Odyssey Jones versus Joe Gacy. I don't know why this match took place on Level Up. This seems like this should have been on NXT. Considering the fact I'm pretty sure, like kayfabe wise, it was Joe Gacy that took out Odyssey Jones. So I don't know why. Like, there's a reason to have this match on NXT. I don't know why they're not having it there. It was just a pretty decent match. Seems like Joe Gacy's not doing shit right now. I honestly think since Triple H took over, he doesn't really. I don't think Joe Gacy's a Triple H guy. Because if you think about it, since Triple H took over, Joe Gacy hasn't really done all that much. To be honest, though, I kind of agree with it. I'm not saying that he's bad or anything. I just don't think he really fits in NXT. And I think now that Bray Wyatt's back too, he can't go to the main roster because his gimmick's too much like Bray Wyatt's right now. So, honestly, I think there's a good chance he could be Alco Howdy because that would obviously make sense. But it's definitely not Alco Howdy because it doesn't even sound like him. So, yeah, just Joe Gacy is really not doing shit right now. I think too. You can tell Triple H, I think, wants to take the Grizzled Young Veterans out of this and put them somewhere else, but he fucking can't because it doesn't make sense of the storyline. Well, let's be real. If Triple H had ran things right before this, Grizzled Young Veteran, like before, would have never been involved with Joe Gacy or any of that. They would have just been what they were before this. But, yeah, this match was okay. I really like Odyssey Jones. He's got a lot of upside. Joe Gacy won with that lethal ejection clothesline, which was not believable at all. That would it took one of those to take down Odyssey Jones. That was not believable at all, especially since Joe. We just reviewed the 2000 Rumble, and it was just about as unbelievable as when X-Pac eliminates Kane with the axe kick over the top. It was pretty much the same thing here. Obviously the X-Pac thing was worse because it was, but whatever. NXT Level Up was pretty good. I liked, Gacy versus Odyssey Jones, and I liked Damon Kemp versus Tank Ledger. So there you go. Obviously, the only thing I hated was Nikita Lyons versus Jakara Jackson, and there you go. Before we do predictions, since we're talking about it, let's take a couple minutes. Let's do this. Let's see your favorite moment that's ever taken place on Raw and your least favorite moment that's ever taken place on Raw. Just one moment. You don't have to necessarily say if it is your favorite. Just how about this? Say something off the top of your head that you loved and something off the top of the head that you hated.
Something off the top of the head I hated was when the Authority were dancing at the end of Raw and partying after they fired 3 members of Team Cena.
Yeah.
That had to be one of the worst fucking Raws in existence.
Yeah.
That was fucking awful. I've seen better PG 20 fucking 12 episodes of Raw than that.
Yeah.
My favorite, man, Steve Austin with a beer truck.
Yeah.
Can't get fucking better than that.
Um,
Comes in, fucking downs the corporation in beer, and then Vince, in an attempt to get away, starts swimming in the beer. That was the best fucking segment ever.
what's your favorite? And then what's your favorite like Raw episode and least favorite off the top of your head? If you had to, if I had a gun to your head and was going to shoot you right now, and you had
Right.
and you and you had to and you had to mention it, what would be your favorite Raw episode? Or least
Too
favorite?
many to count for the good.
Yeah.
The bad would probably be that the Authority one where they were celebrating.
Yeah.
Where every heel that night won. And like I was like, okay, this is just fucking awful.
No. If I had to say like my favorite like Raw moment, it's really a lot to pick from. It's really tough to pick. I'm gonna say Austin and Tyson, you know, when they got into it and stuff. If I had to say like since I started watching and stuff, to give a simpler answer, I would say probably you know, I would probably say Daniel Bryan's like yes movement thing where where he hijacks the show and completely takes it over and stuff like that.
That was awesome.
If I had to say my least favorite Raw moment, that's really tough because there's a lot of bad Raw moments.
It's a
But I
lot. It's a ton.
think if I had to say, it's probably I think just because of what it did when Dean Ambrose gets the shots like in his ass, because that was honestly the end of his heel run pretty much. Um, my favorite Raw episode, um, that's a tough one. Did you say your favorite Raw episode? I don't think you did. I think you said your least favorite, but you didn't say your favorite.
I would say that whole build up to Austin coming back with the Zamboni
Okay.
and
If I had
fucking
to,
taking out McMahon.
if I had to say my favorite Raw episode, um, watching live, it was probably the episode when Mark Henry announces fake retirement because a lot of good shit happens on that Raw. It's the Raw where Brock Lesnar comes back and F5's Punk at the end. Stephanie McMahon comes out and confronts AJ Lee on that show. Christian returns on that show. I just watched someone review it, by the way. That's why I remember it so well. And I'm pretty sure there's like another big thing. It was that Raw where like Vicky Guerrero was being chastised by like Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, and Vince McMahon. They were setting up that storyline where they were firing her out of off TV and stuff. And I'm pretty sure it's not the first one, but it's like when the Wyatt family were being promoted and stuff. But my least favorite Raw, it's between two. And I can't pick between these two. I would probably say, I think I know what it is, but I'll just say the two. The Raw where Retribution gets contracts. Because if you remember also on that show, I'm pretty sure that's the same Raw where Selena Vega was a manager and randomly became #1 contender to the Raw Women's Championship. What else happened on the Raw? Keith Lee fought Drew McIntyre to a count out. No, not to a DQ. And this was when they kept doing this with Keith Lee, where like he never won a big match. He always had like a DQ or something. And they thought they were protecting him, but it was the opposite. Wasn't that like Retribution's first match and they lost because it was like a DQ, but it was like a dumb DQ where like somebody punched him or something. I'm pretty sure this is the Raw too that sets up that lame storyline where they were teasing that Buddy Murphy and Aaliyah Mysterio were gonna get together. I'm pretty sure that's that same Raw. It was a terrible Raw. It's honestly the moment where the Seth Rollins Rey Mysterio storyline jumped the shark. But I think this is my least favorite Raw. The Raw in Manhattan where Dean Ambrose gets those shots because it was the Baron Corbin heavy Raw where I'm pretty sure he has like a match where he changes the match to a DQ. And it was when they were doing that storyline where he was in an alliance with Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. What else happens on that Raw? I'm pretty sure on this Raw, it was Jinder Mahal. Here's some bod-burner matches that happened on the show. Jinder Mahal versus No Way Jose. And I believe it was like Alicia Fox versus Bailey or something. I remember like 3 shit matches happened in a row on that Raw. I think this Raw was so bad. I didn't watch Raw for like a month after this. That's how bad this Raw was. Yeah, it's just really bad. It's so bad, actually. I don't know if you know this on Manhattan's Wikipedia page, just Manhattan. they edited in to say that's the day wrestling died. That's how bad this Raw was. James, are you still here? Do you want to mention any of your favorite, least favorite, like Raw moments and episodes and stuff, or are you off doing something else at the moment?
Anything with Austin.
I know, at least
me on the spot here. Anything with Austin was great. Basically, a lot of the Attitude Era stuff was great. Any Rock promo, specifically the one I think he did on Raw's War, talking about the Armageddon 6-man, where he just roasted everybody.
That was fucking
I
hysterical.
love that.
Now you're gonna say least favorite moments. Can I? I think I know what it is.
The Shelton Benjamin super kick by Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, that's good too.
That fucking ruled. Underrated one. I love Santino's segment with Austin.
Oh,
that was good.
That was funny as hell.
That was really, really funny. He's back.
The Kurt Angle with the milk truck.
Yeah. Oh yeah, fucking Milkomania.
Now you gotta say your least favorite moment.
Jesus Christ.
There's a lot, probably.
Anything from the last 5 years, with the exception of current events, even though they're not bad, at least.
Yeah. You have to say a specific one. That is a little bit of a cheat, though. You have to say one specific one that you hated.
All right, a little bit of a cheat. Okay, what do I really, really, really hate? The segment with Alexa Bliss with EC3 and Ambrose. I will never forgive them for the atrocity of that.
That was awful.
Barely 3
fucking
fucking people in one segment. Where to go, WWE? Nice one.
And then your favorite Raw episode and your least favorite Raw episode. Just episode.
My favorite Raw episode where Mankind won the title.
Okay, that makes sense.
My least favorite. I think I mentioned it on the retro, the fucking Shield reunion, because it was so awfully put together.
The retro that Chris and I did. Because don't forget, on that Raw,
I could have wrote on a goddamn napkin, and the show would have been fucking 10 times better than what was on there.
I feel offended.
It's not even the Shield's fault. It was just the way the layout was, dude. It was not.
Especially too, because on that
offended.
On that Raw, don't forget
a note.
Don't forget what else.
Offended.
They were offended.
Don't forget.
Sorry.
Don't forget what else was on that Raw. That was when Bray Wyatt was Sister Abigail.
Oh,
and,
God, no.
Pumpkin, come on.
And that was when
bring that up.
And that was when they were doing that Mickey James storyline when she was apparently too old to be in the business, and she was like in her early 40s or something. Not even early 40s. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, well, those are my least favorite and favorite. I don't know,
okay.
Whatever I just said. Yeah.
You can go back to producing now. So.
Okay. I'm slowly fading away. Classify myself as obsolete.
We're gonna get copyrighted for that now.
Yes, good.
Obsolete.
But let's do some predictions because we have some stuff announced for this week's WWE content. Let's start with Raw 30 since that's gonna happen first. We have a lot of announced for this show. We have the steel cage match between Bayley and Becky Lynch. Who do you think's winning that match?
Bayley.
Oh, you think Bayley's winning?
Becky, actually.
Okay.
Or both
I think
same time.
Well, if you had to do a prediction right now, though, who would you pick?
Becky.
Yeah, I think Becky's winning. I do think that Damage Control is going to try to interfere, but Mia Yim and Candice LeRae will counteract that interference and they'll like blow into the crowd or something. So we also have for the Raw tag team titles. Actually, I'll save that prediction for a little bit later on. We have for the U.S. title. It's Austin Theory defending against Bobby Lashley. I think somehow, some way, Austin Theory is retaining. And I think Brock Lesnar is going to show up again and cost Lashley the match. Because I think that's the only way that Theory can retain without, making Lashley look stupid. What do you think?
I think Theory's going to win. And I think Lashley
is gonna interfere. That makes so much sense too to set up their match.
Yeah. And then we have some legends that are showing up on Raw. We have Taker, Teddy Long, Shawn Michaels. Even though Teddy Long's really a Raw legend, he's kind of more of a, SmackDown legend, but whatever. We have I think the Bellas were supposed to be on, but they had to pull out the last minute. Which I'm really not going to complain about. I'm not that big of a Bellas fan. Ahmed Johnson's going to be on / Ron Simmons. I don't know why I called it. Actually, that's not even the same guy. I completely fucked that up. It's not even the same guy. It's Farouk, not Ahmed Johnson. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking.
What in the fuck
What are
did
you even
just
talking
say?
about? He called him admin too.
What the fuck? You said it with chest. What the hell?
Admin
Ahmed
Johnson.
Johnson / Ron Simmons.
What the fuck happened? Continuing, X-Pac, Road Dogg are all going to be on. I don't know what they'll do on the show, if they'll be split out, but I think they're going to have some nice appearances on the show. I don't know. The only thing I don't know is if when Taker's on, is he going to be Mount Calloway or if he's going to be the Undertaker? Because we haven't. I think this is going to be his first appearance on Raw since like the Hall of Fame and stuff like that. So I kind of hope he's Taker, but I think he's going to end up being Mount Calloway. What do you think?
Well, he's technically going to be the Undertaker.
Yeah.
Either way.
But I don't know if it'll be the Undertaker character though, because on like Wikipedia and like the Thin and stuff, he's like in his Mount Calloway gear and stuff like that. So continuing though.
You could just be his best gimmick, the Biker Taker.
That's essentially Mount Calloway too. Other stuff that's going to be on Raw. We have the Raw tag title match. It's going to be the Usos defending against the Judgment Day. I'm going to let you do predictions first because I have a prediction for it. But what do you think?
Usos.
I'm going to go the opposite. I think Judgment Day is winning the Raw tag titles. I think they're finally splitting the belts up. And they're going to have the Judgment Day win the Raw tag titles because you have so many tag teams now that need to be showcased that because the Usos have both belts, it affects that. And I think that's going to change by having them win the Raw tag team titles. And I think they're doing that. Unless they're trying to do it to make us think that, the Judgment Day have a chance of winning. But I think the Judgment Day are going to get the Raw tag titles. Which I think is the best bet. I think it's a way to separate the titles and things like that. And then we thought we were going to get the ultimate acknowledgement ceremony of Roman Reigns, but that segment changed because on SmackDown, because of what happened on SmackDown, we're now going to have the trial of Sami Zayn. I'm so fucking nervous. And I actually think this ties into prediction. This is why I think the Judgment Day is going to win. It depends on when this segment happens. I think it's going to kick off the show. I actually think that Sami Zayn will stay in the bloodline, but I think he's going to accidentally cost the Usos the Raw tag team titles. And, that's going to be even cooler with what happens, when Sami Zayn breaks off. If you think about it, because if Sami Zayn and KO win the SmackDown tag belts, Sami Zayn would have had a part of costing the Usos both the tag team titles. So that would be really cool. But I think, Sami Zayn will still be in the bloodline, but there's going to be some big tension that happens with, in this segment. I think he'll just pass. I think I don't know how they're doing this, by the way, like who's going to be the judge, like the jury and stuff, but I think there's going to be an entertaining segment. I can't wait for it. What do you think of this?
I can't wait. I'm excited. It's going to lead to what I want it to lead to. And yeah.
I think Kevin Owens will interrupt that segment no matter how it goes. And, there'll be a brawl between Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns and stuff. So, although because they could still have the Judgment Day, that Raw tag title. What the hell happened? Are you okay?
What?
I heard like a big bang on the other end. Like, did something fall?
No,
like, what?
My fucking bed's creaking.
Oh, like you fell or something. Like,
Yeah, I fucking fell and knocked everything off my window, everything down, and broke every window in my house.
But I actually think they could do something too, where like Sami Zayn cost them the Raw Tag Team titles, and he still has to go for his trial, and that will lead to him question that it'll like look like he'll be kicked out, but he'll just make it back in or something. So I'm really excited about this. Going over the predictions for NXT. Let me just pull it up real quick. We have some matches announced. We have. Well, is there anything else on Raw that I'm missing? That I think that's everything that's going to happen.
Not that's everything that's planned so far or announced.
Is there anything you want to happen on the 30th anniversary of Raw? Because since it's a big Raw,
I want my Sammy and my Kevin to get back together.
Raw's a good place for it. I think they should still save that for Chamber though. That would be a bigger pop there, but I think you picked that last week too, didn't you?
Yeah, so I'm going to say it every week until I get it.
What I want to happen this week is rumored Vince is going to show up on this show. I mean, I know they've done it to death, but I want to see it happen. I want to see Stone Cold come out and stun Vince again because obviously you can't get. I love those segments together. So
the best.
Here's what's announced for NXT. We're gonna have Thea Hale's gonna have an award ceremony for winning her first match on NXT. I don't know if that means she's graduated Chase University, she's gonna be moving on or what, but I don't know what will happen in this award ceremony. I expect Andre Chase is gonna call out Duke Hudson again for what we saw, and maybe like I don't think the term will happen, but I think there's gonna be something that happens where maybe Duke Hudson will play the real footage of what actually happened, and we'll find out it was actually taken out of context. But what do you think is going to happen?
I think he's going to become Dick Hudson.
Dick Hudson, okay. It's not here, but Kiana James and Fallon Henley are going to team up. I think they're going to face like some enhancement, like tag team, and win that match, and that will be what happens there. What do you think?
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
We also have Tiffany Stratton versus Indy Hartwell announced. This is probably going to be a Tiffany Stratton victory because it's her first match. However, I don't like Tiffany Stratton, so I'm picking Indy Hartwell to win this match, but that's probably not going to happen. What do you think?
It's probably going to be Tiffany Stratton. Even though I want Indy to win, I think it's still going to be Tiffany Stratton.
Then we have for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, it's Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter defending against just Kaylee Ray. However, what I think is going to happen here is they like to do this sometimes, and I think it could happen, and I think it's finally time. I think Isla Dawn, at some point is going to be up on the apron, and she'll get tagged in, after Kaylee Ray's been dominated and stuff. And I actually think that Kaylee Ray and Isla Dawn are going to win the tag titles. I think it's finally we need to get these belts off of Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter, and I think that this is the perfect way to get, because I think they want to do a team up between Isla Dawn and Kaylee Ray. And I think this is the best way to do it. So what do you think?
I think fucking Katana Chance and fucking Kaden Carter are the worst tag team in WWE history. There's been some bad ones. There's been Techno Team 2000. But I think they're worse than the fucking Ding Dongs. Fucking tag team I've ever seen. They're so fucking bland. They're just so fucking bland.
Yeah.
I don't tune into NXT and be like, oh, I want to see the Women's Tag Team Championship today. No one fucking says that. Because all they are is an entrance. And it's not even a good one. It's whoop, 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 whoop. That's all it is. And they have this stupid cannon things that they shoot off. Or whatever the fuck it is. So I hope to God they lose and they can go away forever because they suck.
There you go. And then we have an NXT Women's Championship Summit. It's going to be between Roxanne Perez, Gigi Dolan, and JC Jane. I think it's just going to be like a face-off. I don't know what.
Oh, for sure. 100% is going to be a face-off.
They don't want to call it a face-off because they just don't want to call it a face-off. And I think they're going to do something where, like, Toxic Attraction has some type of miscommunication. They're going to talk about, like, the thing this week. but then they're gonna end up laying out Roxanne Perez on this show, but they're both gonna like hold up the title and fight over it or something. That's probably gonna be what happens. What do you think?
I think it's going to end up in a brawl, and I think it's going to end up with, like you said, the toxic attraction holding the belt up together and like looking at each other.
Yeah. I hope they don't break them up because they're gonna struggle. I know they're struggling right now, but I think they would really struggle on their own. I think the best idea.
Sure, yeah.
I think the best idea, and I think people have pointed this out, is when Chelsea Green, if she does come in, they should just put Chelsea Green with them because one, I actually think it's gonna work out better than Mandy Rose, anyways, and because she can actually work and everything like that. And I actually think they could do some really good stuff together. Again, I think it sucks because I think they were meant to get a call up, but obviously because of the Mandy Rose thing, it fucked that up, and they can't get called up now because they're not ready for the main roster without Mandy, pretty much. So I think if Chelsea Green comes back, they could get called up and be with just Chelsea Green and stuff. I think Chelsea Green could actually add a lot more to that faction. But do you agree with that, or do you think I'm way off there?
I think it can add something to the faction, but I think the faction is dead at this point.
Yeah. Maybe they're breaking it up because they want to get rid of the toxic attraction, get rid of them as much as mention of Mandy Rose as possible too.
Oh yeah, true, yeah.
But on SmackDown, there's some things announced. We're gonna have the 2 semifinal matches in the SmackDown number 1 contenders tournament. It's gonna be Imperium versus Legado del Fantasma. This could go either way, but I think Imperium's the smarter team to win. Legado del Fantasma really don't need the. Well, not that they don't need it. I just think it's going to kind of hurt Imperium more if they freaking lose. Like, they have the dominant faction on SmackDown that are on about every week, and Legado del Fantasma they're not on every week. And I think it would honestly be kind of a joke if the Legado del Fantasma beat Imperium. That'd be especially since they just beat the Brawling Brutes, who are just a hot act. Like, I think Imperium should win. What do you think?
I think Imperium should win. Both of them can afford a win, but I don't really think either of them could have really afford to have a loss either way.
I think it's going to hurt Imperium more if they lose than in Legado del Fantasma.
Because they definitely need that win.
Yeah.
But it won't hurt Legado nearly as much, but it's still going to hurt him a little bit.
And there's a reason I'm picking them to win also. Let's talk about the next one. It's Drew McIntyre and Sheamus versus Hit Row. That's an obvious win for Drew McIntyre and Sheamus.
The Banger Bros.
Yeah, I think this match will be okay because Drew and Sheamus can fucking work. I forget his name, but Tahuti Miles. I forget what his name is now, but he's actually a pretty good worker. It's just that he's kind of stuck with this Hit Row thing. Like, he's actually a pretty decent.
Ashante the Adonis.
Ashante the Adonis. There it is. I think he's actually pretty decent in the ring. It's just that he's stuck with this Hit Row thing. Again, Hit Row fucking struggles without Swerve, man.
It's awful without Swerve.
Yeah. And, Swerve's not coming back anytime soon. So, I mean, the good thing if AEW bought WWE is we get Swerve back with Hit Row again, probably.
But also, Swerve's not doing much in AEW right now either.
Yeah, so.
They did that attack and then it didn't do anything with it.
And then this is why I pick Imperium to win, because it will get Drew McIntyre and Sheamus versus Imperium. And I think they're going to set up Walter versus Drew McIntyre in the future. And Walter will screw over Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. And maybe it'll lead to like a triple threat match. But I think a one-on-one match between Drew and Walter would be awesome at Mania.
Because they already did Sheamus versus Gunther at Clash the Castle. So I could see them doing Gunther versus Drew McIntyre. That match would be fucking, again, along the same lines as that Sheamus and Gunther match.
Yeah. I don't think Drew would win the belt. I think he could, but I think they would. I honestly think Walter's going to hold on to this title for a while, like a long, long time.
He should.
Yeah, he's really good. Because I think Triple H is going to make up for the fact. Because if you think about, I think last year at Mania, none of the mid card belts were defended, and I think Triple H is going to make up for that this year because the IC title is doing really well in the US belts. I don't know who Theory would face for the belt, but we'll talk about that another day. Also on the show, we have Karrion Kross versus Rey Mysterio. I think Karrion Kross really needs this win, just because of the fact that Rey can afford a loss because they could do something where like Dominic interferes in the match. Maybe he's in the crowd or something. And I think Ray doesn't need the win at all. He's Rey Mysterio. He's going to be just fine. He can easily bounce back. He already has a storyline ready for him anyways for Mania. Karrion Kross, I don't think it. He did beat Drew at Extreme Rules, but he also lost a feud. He really needs this win like bad. So what do you think?
I think it's gonna be Drew. That's
What?
Cross. Yeah, that guy.
But
yeah, Karrion Kross needs the win badly.
Yeah. Now a match that I don't think is made official. I did see it online and stuff. They announced, but I don't know if it's happening. It shouldn't happen. And I did see that Kevin Owens versus Solo Sikoa is possibly announced. This match should not happen because they both can't afford a loss. Solo Sikoa because he's doing really well in a dominant role, and Kevin Owens because he's got a title match coming up and he can't lose. Because if he loses, there's the fans already don't think Kevin Owens has a chance of winning anyways. If he loses to Solo Sikoa, they're gonna definitely think he doesn't have a chance of beating Roman Reigns at the Rumble. So I don't think this match would happen. But if it does happen, they're probably gonna do a no finish, like a DQ or something, because
that's the smartest way to go.
Yeah, or they could do this because has it been 6 weeks yet since Matt Riddle?
Has it been? I think it's close, or it is.
If it's been 6 weeks, they could have Matt Riddle return and screw over Solo Sikoa. Like do a high knee or something, then that leads to him getting stunned. But I just don't think Solo Sikoa should lose right now. There's no reason for him to lose.
False, definitely a shitty, a non-finish.
Yeah, and then another match I think is happening. They did a thing on the SmackDown Lowdown, which basically is what Talking Smack is now, where Emma confronted Selena Vega, and it looks like they're gonna do a match. They might not do it on this show. They might do it after the Rumble. They'll have like a face-off there or something because Emma's announced for the Rumble, I believe. But if this match happens, we'll do predictions for it just in case. It's Emma versus Selena Vega. They're probably going to give it to Selena Vega, but Emma really needs this fucking win. She really hasn't done anything and had a big win at all since she's been back in WWE. And Emma really needs this win, but they're probably going to give it to Selena Vega.
Zelina's going to get the win, but Emma needs it.
Yeah. Because it's not like Zelina Vega's going to hurt from losing anyway. She's not a wrestler, really. So Emma's the one wrestling all the time. It's going to make Emma look really bad losing, too, because Zelina Vega's a freaking manager. Like, I hate the fact of having Zelina Vega wrestle. It's just a really stupid thing. She's really good at it, but again, she just doesn't stand out at all as a wrestler. But that's really it for predictions. Anything else in the world of WWE you want to talk about we didn't talk about?
No, we talked about everything.
Yeah, we talked about everything. I would say surprise entrance we want to see in the Rumble, but I think we should do that next week since it's the go home week of the Rumble. The show is going to be really weird next week because we'll be. I don't know when we're going to record it because that's what sucks about Rumble being on a Saturday in a sense because SmackDown's the day before and we have to record it the day of the Rumble. You might not even see the WWE Aftershock until afterwards. But that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Is there anything you want to plug or promote, Chris? Anything at all you got going on right now?
Just watch Raw 30 tomorrow night.
Well, tonight since it's on Monday.
Whatever, yeah, whenever it airs. Yeah, tonight. Well, yeah, because we're recording this the day before. But watch Raw 30, and then in the comments below, tell us what you liked about the show.
Well, tell us what you hated. Tell us what you hated about the show, and rag on me for fucking up what Farouk's name was instead of saying what it was. That was really bad.
Admin Johnson
is freaking Farouk apparently now. I'm not going to hear the end of that. I don't think.
No, you're not. It's gonna live for it ever.
I'm pretty sure I did so. I think you were on this podcast. I accidentally called WYW one time WCW. Luckily, I haven't seen them much since then, so they haven't. I think that's been forgotten about until I just brought it up again. But so hey, at least I'm not like I think that might be worse than when JR called AEW Dynamite WWE Dynamite. That might be worse than that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't even know how
the WWE title.
Yeah, that's why if AEW does buy WWE. He wouldn't have to worry about making those types of mistakes anymore because it would be true. But anyhow, as for my stuff, you could check out the Retro Wrestling Review series we did on Royal Rumble 2000. You're probably going to hate what we say in that video because we still like the show, but we didn't really think it was an all-time great like we thought, like everyone thought it was. Because if you watch the show entirety, it's not that epic of a show, and at least in my opinion anyways. But you could check out the 2008 Royal Rumble Retro. We have some Royal Rumble Retros coming up either Tuesday, because we're probably going to record it Monday. It will be Royal Rumble 2011 or 1998. So, Chris, if you're available for tomorrow, it will either be your pick or Steve's pick. It depends on Steve's availability. So I would tell you which one to watch so you don't watch both by mistake. And I'll make sure to say which one this time, because there's been times where James has watched where James and I have had some miscommunications. He watched the one retro. And then, you can check out Fantasy Booking Series, check out more WWE Aftershock. Just watch the Royal Rumble and really enjoy that. Just enjoy wrestling. And a video coming to James' channel soon, I don't know if he's going to post it, is after we did the retro, James and I were just screwing around, and we did live reactions to Taz and the Paul White's theme song from AEW, because it's so bad they're good. You got to... And I mean, Taz is like first theme in AEW when it would like looping all his catchphrases and stuff like that. So, that's pretty much it, guys. And apparently, Farouk/Abed Johnson will talk to you later. And he can't talk to you in the past or in the future because they're not the same person apparently. So, and they've both been in the same room together. So,
they have been together. Yes.
So we will talk to you guys later, and hopefully, I won't make a mistake like that again.
Podcast has concluded. Be sure to check out more group discussion as far as WWE content is concerned, and check out more content from For the Win Productions.